Howdy, y'all. Good evening. What is today? Saturday, March 18th. Good evening. Man, I'm plumb tuckered out after the rodeo yesterday. I tell you what, I was reading the news and I was like, should I just go to bed early tonight or hang out with the family? And I said, screw it. I'll have a drink, smoke a cigar, and see what's up with you guys. I got a little bit of catching up to do. Maybe we'll do it together. Maybe we would just blow off reading the news and hang out and have a drink. But I need to catch up on what is going on with the banking situation. I saw my boy Donnie worried about getting picked up on Tuesday. I know he's not in jail yet. He's probably not going to jail either, but they're talking about an indictment. Meanwhile, little Junior Biden running around free, breaking federal gun laws, smoking dope, hanging out with ladies of ill repute, getting millions of dollars sent over from China. Oh, that's all fine. He's just a boy. But Donnie, no, we need a distraction from the banking crisis. Go arrest Donald Trump. Oh, man. What is this fucking world coming to, you guys? Okay, what's up? 1867. But thank you for not 1876. You're making me 8 years younger than I am, and I appreciate that. I do. But we're going to be honest here. 1867. What's up, Juicy? Broke Ape? Corey? Hash, CB, Punchy Nuts, what's up? Bucks fan, Zip Tat, good evening, good evening. Did I see Zero Hedge pause possible? I did not. I did read another interesting article, though, on Twitter tonight. Let me see if I can get my Twitter moved down to a screen where I'm not looking like I'm looking up at the sky. Hang on one second. Move tab. All right, let's bring it down here. And apparently, did you guys see this article? There were like 20 jets flown into Omaha. Warren Buffett maybe meeting with some bankers, arranging some, maybe some preferred share bailouts so the government doesn't have to embarrass itself. Zero Hedge, what did I see? Was it on Zero Hedge? Another headline that said some of these smaller regional banks are asking the FDIC, could you please guarantee all of our deposits for the next 2 years? Fuck you. Screw you guys. How about you manage your risk better? Use our money to short our stocks. I know they're probably just putting it in, I don't know what the hell they're doing. Putting it in bonds like Silicon Valley Bank. Who the hell knows? You done screwed up, Aaron. not that Aaron, but you guys know the video. You know what I'm talking about. You done screwed up. Karen, good evening. What's up? Long time no see. How are you and Devinda doing? Haven't heard from Devinda lately. Trump was at the NCAA Wrestling National Finals tonight. Yeah, he'll be fine. Even if they do pick him up on Tuesday, it'll be photo, fingerprints, bail, or personal recognizance. Who knows? But, you know, the press, they're going to do what they do. Corey says, YouTuber user Canadian prepper video today had lady on talking about the financial system. All right, I need to check that one out. First alcoholic beverage of the day. What do I have over there? Oh, I'm trying a new bourbon. I can't remember if I bought this one before. The brand is Redemption Rye. Pretty good stuff. I mean, normally I buy the Bullet Rye, but I thought I'd try something new this time. You know, everybody likes to switch it up every now and then. So yeah, check out that. Let me know what you think if you've tried Redemption versus Bullet. I was going to say check it out. No, it's not sponsored. It almost sounded like a sponsored bit, though, there for a second. It was headed that direction. Speaking of sponsored bits, I saw that some FTX YouTubers got in a little bit of trouble this week, too. I didn't make a video about that. I'm sure they got enough worries without me adding a video on it. Why pile on? But yeah, don't. What were they in trouble for? They were advertising something without doing the proper disclosure that it was an ad, I guess. I guess that was what I read. Did you guys read something different? Thank you, Corey. Topic of tonight is chillax, have some fun, have a drink, have a smoke, and maybe, if I feel like it, I'm going to bring up some articles about whatever's going on this weekend with the banks. Like I said, I know that there were a bunch of jets that went out to Omaha. Maybe Warren Buffett is either giving advice or bailing out some of these banks. FDIC is being begged to back up the deposits for the next 2 years. And who knows what else? What else have you guys been seeing? Spanish John, what's up? I got a video out tonight, guys. I got 2 videos that I did for you today. One is in my shorts. That sounds funny. In the tab for video shorts. You know, the short vertical. I rarely do those, but I should do more for the YouTube algo. Anyways, if anyone wants to see a 1-minute video of what the rodeo looked like last night, go watch that. And then the second video that I've been meaning to get to for like 18 months, and it just really is not high on my priority list, was on OBV, on balance volume. On balance volume. Yeah, I said that right. You guys know that is not an indicator I use, not one that I talk about. I've offhandedly said in the past, occasionally, when I get asked about it, I don't think that it's being used correctly in this retail community. Well, somebody was griping at me after we had Tim Quast on last week. You guys didn't even talk about OBV. Well, that OBV was not the topic. Sorry. It was daily short volume was what Tim and I were talking about. But I have been meaning to correct a bunch of misinformation, in my opinion, about OBV. And so I finally sat down and got that out for you today. Sorry, it was 10 minutes long. I usually like to keep them about 5 minutes. And sometimes it takes a couple minutes more than I'd like. And I know there's still going to be people that you showed it to me in black and white, Tony, and I still don't believe you. That's fine. I get it. Not everybody's going to be convinced. For the people who are on the fence or wondering what the fuck does this actually mean, this OBV, nobody's selling, this line's going flat across the screen. I provided you a very rational explanation of why OBV looks like that. And just to follow on that, because you're going to see people post charts for like Robinhood or Netflix, where the price is coming down and so is the OBV. That's how it should look, yes. But what was different between AMC, GameStop is one, Meagle, remember that? They all had OBVs right now that for the last 6, 8, 12, 18 months look flat because in their run-ups they had what I call outlier massive run-up, massive volume. So when you have volume that's 60 times the normal volume, when you're stacking billions of buy-side volume in that chart back in 2021, the OBV, there's no way, guys, that with a normal daily volume of 10 or 20 million shares trading a day, that you're going to chip billions of shares down on the OBV. It'll take years, the way OBV is calculated, for you to see that thing drive down. unless there's just one day where you have a red day in one of these stocks, Meagle, AMC, GameStop. If you have one day where they trade billions of shares and go down, then you will see OBV move. But because it's a cumulative indicator, it's going to look flat. If your chart is zoomed all the way out to 2021, it's going to look flat. So push that off to the side. If you want to use OBV, start your chart after August 2022 or 2021, and it'll look just fine. It'll look normal. Corey says, Meatball Kevin. I don't know what what is that? Ron's cousin. Ron who? Oh, Ron DeSantis. Is he really? Kevin is Ron's cousin? I used to like DeSantis. I mean, I don't dislike DeSantis, but once I learned, and I told you guys about this many, many months ago, that Ken Griffin is angling to be the Treasury Secretary under DeSantis, I was like, nope. That's a hard stop right there, my friends. I don't care, find me another candidate. I don't know who all is going to be in the field when we get there, but anybody going to put the wolf in charge of the hen house, Ken Griffin as U.S. Treasury Secretary, that is a hard no from me. Was that me riding the bull, Anya? I wish. I would love to do that. I'd probably get my skull crushed in. The bull's coming up. Thank you, Juicy. Thank you, Broke Ape. Ooh, this is like drinking juice, I tell you what. The sound dropped. Oh no. Let me go back to my screen where I can monitor the stream health. How come my lips are out of sync with my voice? Oh, 1, 2, 3. Let's do this. Was it out of sync? Shit, it sure is, isn't it? Let me see if I can fix it. Hang on. Sound settings, headphones. How about now, brown cow? That should be better, right? See this? That's a trick we learned back in the movie business about 30 years ago. Except they have those fancy clipboards. That's so you can sync up your sound and your video later when you're doing editing. The little known tricks that you learn when you're watching a late night live stream. I'm from a failed actor who took 2 acting classes 30 years ago. Can't wait till I get my guitar lessons, guys, so we can add failed rock star to the list. I'm going to go take 2 guitar lessons and beef up my resume. Failed actor, failed rock star. Woo! All right. What are we smoking tonight? We are smoking a new one, Gurkha Cellar Reserve from, where are they from? Nicaragua? Let's see. Steven says, what did you ever end up doing with the Solana that I owned? I don't remember, Steven. I remember a couple months ago when all the cryptos was dropping down below 20,000. I said that I lightened up on a lot of stuff. I honestly have not looked at my crypto portfolio since then. Put a lot of it in cash. I'm kind of waiting for all of this nonsense in March to settle down. I woke up this morning and saw immediately that there was a headline that Bitcoin was at like 27,000. I was like, holy shit, maybe I should get back in. Let's see what it's looking at like right now. 27,000 still. So yeah, I mean, this is something else that I want to ask you guys about while we're all here and I'm firing up this stogie. What are you guys thinking about gold and crypto if we really are going to have a bank crisis into the second half of this month? Should I be talking about that? Do you guys want to hear more about that? Are you already way ahead of me? Buying gold and stacking your crypto? Angelina, what's going on, girl? So, Stephen, to answer your question, I don't remember what all I sold and what I still have left. It's all on my cold storage wallet, and it's been so many months ago that I lightened up on the crypto. I don't remember exactly which ones I have. I'll check this weekend. The 27K Bitcoin this morning was kind of like a wake up call. That I need to start paying attention to that again. Oh, what do we got here? Dan Man says, are you playing ape still for arbitrage? Dan, I'm not. I don't know if you've watched any of my more recent videos, but I don't want to give out advice, but I will tell you my thoughts that I had said on recent videos, that I am not making any changes in adding to any positions because I already had enough exposure to AMC and APE, and we've got a lot of uncertainty in the market right now. We got market uncertainty, we got interest rate uncertainty, we got lawsuit uncertainty, and what was the other uncertainty? Oh, and because of the market uncertainty and the bank risk, I'm trying to keep most of my available cash in cash. Not be adding to anything, so that if we get a ridiculous market sell-off, that I can go in and buy some blue chip stocks that I have my eye on. So that is what I'm doing. Did not do a lot of trading last week, and not a lot of buying anything. Excuse me, a little bourbon coming back to pay a visit. I'm not doing a lot of buying last week, and I don't intend to be adding to anything other than maybe some day trading or momentum trading next week. Not holding a lot of stuff overnight, because you could wake up or go to bed and the market could be wildly different the next day. Broke Ape says, I would love your take on physical commodities. All right, I will. And Scavenger, what's up, buddy? Been stacking thousands of ounces of silver. Yeah, that one too. Silver is another good one to look at. Did I see Peter Schiff calling out stock market collapse and gold silver rush next week? I saw the headlines only, Christopher. My intent, I've had a busy weekend. My intent tonight, if nobody showed up, I was going to just read the news and try and get caught up. But I guess that will happen tomorrow. I don't have a lot planned for tomorrow other than an R&R day. Maybe a video if we can come up with a topic. Spanish John says, be sure to differentiate between Bitcoin and crypto. They are not the same. I agree with you. Hillbilly Investor says, if we all bought into Hycroft, we don't need to worry. Yeah, it is true, guys, that if gold and silver rally, you should see just from that mining index. I have not even looked to see what indexes Hycroft's in, but I have noticed that trend. When gold and silver go up, Hycroft goes up, even though they're not mining. They must be in some mining index out there somewhere. So that is good too. I still got some calls I'd like to sell on Hycroft, and it keeps getting beaten down from damn Mudrick selling out from under us on Hycroft. Fortunately, my position in Hycroft is very small. We're not gonna lose any sleep if Hycroft goes down, and you guys know my timeline on Hycroft. I'm just waiting for it. But now I'm waiting for Mudrick to finish selling, and then I'll go in and add some more. Very tiny investment, very speculative investment. Be patient with Hycroft. You got a couple years to be patient. Oh man, Ms. Diane Garrett, she posted a picture of what was his name? Bob. Bob here is our what was his name? Project manager or program manager. And he loves camping and fishing and hanging out with his family. I imagine that dude, right now while they're not mining, he's probably out fly fishing. Diane Garrett, we don't want to see personal profiles of your employees. We want to see some damn core sample results and publish the plan of when we're going to get back into mining. That's what we want to know, Ms. Garrett, respectfully. We need to get this wagon moving along, Diane Garrett. It's Hycroft. We can't be dragging this shit out for a year and letting Mudrick sell out from under us. Headstock Harem says, with looking at some cowboy hats and boots recently, there is a big variety. There is a huge variety. Yes. And then he rolls that sentence right into crypto. Man, I like that multitasking there, Headstock Harem. Oh man, last night, guys, we were at the rodeo. We got there a little bit late, so we only saw the second half of the rodeo, but not to worry, we have one more. The rodeo goes on for 2 or 3 weeks. We have one more rodeo event booked next Saturday. Who are we going to see? Not Aaron Watson. Another oldie but goodie. I'll pull it up while I'm talking here. Anyways, we got to see the second half of the rodeo. Those crazy barrel racer girls. And the bull riders, the finale. And then the Russell Dickerson concert. I do like his music. Wasn't really a fan of what he was wearing last night. Like, are you going to show up to a rodeo, Russell? Have a hat. Have some boots on, son. You look like he just walked off the beach. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. The music was good. But where I was going with that is around the edges of the auditorium, they have all these shops set up. And Scarlett, she's just like, it's like a honeybee to the hive. She's like, bzzz, look at the hats. Look at the boots. Oh, look, it's a custom hat with a kitty footprint on it. We're not here for shopping. We're not here for shopping. Please, please, Lord, no. I'm sure that those things could be had a little bit cheaper if you weren't buying them at the rodeo at a booth where they're being charged an arm and a leg. Take their card. We'll call them later. Live music. Who are we going? Aaron Watson was March 11th. Next Saturday, we are going to see Tracy Lawrence. The 25th. That's next Saturday, right? And I would have liked to see Lainey Wilson. If you guys watch Yellowstone, you know who Lainey Wilson is. But I bought these tickets back in January, and that was the first one I checked. She was sold out in January. And even like the shit seats were $200 or $300 on resale. I was like, yeah, no. No. I can buy 3 other concerts and still spend less money than watching Lainey Wilson. So sorry, Lainey. I'll watch you on Yellowstone. Damrick says, I think they're coming after crypto. Somewhere when I was driving around listening to YouTube, and I think it was on Meet Kevin. Like, I was listening to some videos, and then Meet Kevin rolled in to the next auto feed from YouTube, and I had the phone over in the passenger seat, so I wasn't selecting it, and I didn't even know who it was. It was just some congressional testimony with Jerome Powell, and they were asking him about, what are his thoughts on crypto. I think it was Powell. I sounded like Powell, and he basically said, yeah, well, we want to encourage. What was the word he used? Not ingenuity, but they want to encourage. They don't want to stifle competition. And but they do want to make sure that, safety and security are there for crypto, and that people are not having their money stolen from criminals like Sam Bankman-Fried. So who knows? Who knows what's happening with crypto, but they're definitely looking at it. Damrick says, no popcorn made it to my town Walmart yet. Guys, I checked my Walmart online tonight. It's a bit of a drive for me to get to the one that had popcorn last week when I bought it. And I just did an online search like I did a week ago, and it wasn't even on there. Like, I thought that maybe it'd be on there and say no inventory, but it's just gone. So I'm assuming my Walmart sold out. KC messaged me that he drove to the other two Walmarts a week ago, a few days ago. We have 3 Walmarts in town that were supposed to have the popcorn out of like 30 Walmarts. And he said he couldn't find it right after the release. The other 2 didn't have it. And the one that I found, I posted the picture. Anyways, it's good popcorn. Tastes just like the movie theater popcorn. And I bought a couple of other competitors just to do a blind taste test with Scarlett and another friend. And both of the ladies and myself in a blind taste test picked the AMC Extra Butter as the winning taste. There was a little bit of variation between our selections on the other 2 competitors in the regular AMC popcorn. The regular one is much higher in salt than anything. And then when you get to the Extra Butter AMC, they do, if you look at the ingredients, they cut down by about 20% the sodium, and they increase the butter. So it's got lower sodium, higher fat. And Scarlett likes extra salt on her popcorn, so I was surprised that the regular AMC popcorn was her number 3 choice. She said it's too salty. I was like, that's really weird for you to say it was too salty. Because when we go to the movies, she's like, get some extra packets of salt. I'm like, you're going to give me high blood pressure, trying to kill me early. You're trying to put me in the grave before I reach 200, lady. But I thought it tasted just fine, the extra butter and the regular. But it was more salty, noticeably so. Raskar, what's going on? Hallie, what is up? You went to 3 Walmarts in Clearwater. Yeah, I would suggest, guys, check the online inventory of your Walmart, the one you're going to go to. If it is in stock, you should be able to see it online. Anya says, ask Warren Buffett to do a live with you. Yeah, I should do that. Hey, Warren, we've got a lot in common, Warren. I used to live in Omaha. Well, outside of Omaha. That's about... I did babysit him when he was a toddler, too. He probably doesn't remember that, though. Is the butter really dairy? Juicy got you crazy? No. No, I don't think so. Edward says, have you heard about the $30 price tag? I stopped listening to that video, Edward, when he said that the market cap of Ape was 2.2 billion. I just had, as soon as someone can't get something factually correct, I got to discount. I got to discount and discard and just eject. I can't go on in the video when the setup, the premise of your video is that Ape and AMC have the same market cap because you went to a website and got wrong information. There's 937 million shares of Ape. The price is $1.30. That's about 1.3 billion market cap. Just rough numbers. I did that in my head right now. Don't hold me. You math whizzes can figure that out on a calculator, but there's no damn way that the market cap of Ape is 2.2 billion. So I did not, unfortunately, listen to the rest of his video. Did I see the followers of another YouTuber want to start destroying property at AMC theaters? I did not, Dan. Who's saying that? Sounds like somebody should be reported to the authorities. Or at least to YouTube. Look at Dan's comment. Dan says, did you? Oh, that one. Yeah, who is it, Dan? Don't be shy. Tell us who it was. Tell me, Dan, so I can go give them a piece of my mind. We don't take kindly to words like that, Dan. Dan, I get mad when I see pictures on Twitter of a theater with like popcorn spilled all over the seats and the floor. People leave the theater and they made a damn mess. I get it. Accidents happen, but you're just gonna, well, I guess you don't got a broom. It's just irritating, Dan. It's irritating. See people mess up fucking theater like that. CSI's followers. All right, I'll have to go take a look. You know, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say there. You know, everybody's flip-flopping. One day you love the company, the next day you want to tear it up. I don't know. Did I see Yellen being grilled about bailing out bigger banks but not the smaller banks? I saw a little bit. I was cooking some lunch the day she was being grilled, Arthur. I was grilling a hamburger with bacon and some what was that? Some cheese Scarlett bought. Maybe Colby. Anywho, the point that I remember I was like, what? And I think Massalorian maybe have even included it in one of his videos where one of the senators, was it Senate that she was talking to? Anyways, one of the congressmen was asking her, when could they meet with Biden? She's like, oh, he's ready to meet with you at any time. And he's like, well, I've sent in a lot of requests and he's not answering them. Well, I can rest assured he's ready to meet with you at any time. Well, I'm telling you, he's not, because he's not answering me. The speaker needs to quit badgering and accusing the guest of lying. He's not accusing her of lying. He's telling you his story of what is going on, which is the truth for him. And she's dodging the question. Let the man talk. I need to go back tomorrow, Arthur, and watch that whole thing. Corey says, I found a used condom in a theater. Golly. Well, at least they were safe, Corey. It was either a condom or a modified popcorn bucket. Corey, I guess they went with the condom. Anya says, when I was a kid, my cousin brought in a jar of moss and let them free in the movie theater. Holy shit. You know what would be kind of funny, Anya? I don't know if you guys have them where you live, but speaking of moss, what if you let a whole jar of fireflies go in a dark movie theater? That would be pretty funny. Yeah, I would say, guys, No, I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to. I'm enough talk of tearing up theaters. I do not condone that. And I hope that whatever channel that happening on, that the person in charge of that channel is getting control of those comments. That is not cool. Is it correct the FDIC only has 0.03% to back up all the bank accounts? I don't know, Billy. I'm going to catch up. Since it doesn't look like it's going to be tonight, I'm going to catch up with all the news on FDIC and the requests from these banks to insure them for 2 years. I will check into that. I would bet along the lines of your question, if I had to guess, they certainly don't have, without printing a bunch more money, they don't have the ability to back up the entire system if it fails. I don't know, though. I don't know. I'll have to check. Is U.S. Treasury bonds a smart investment right now? I mean, Supras, you have to decide for yourself, what is your desired rate of return and how long are you willing to lock that money up? I'm not a big bond investor myself. And I was talking with one of my clients today. Remember the client that he told me last week that he got he works with some hedge funds, and we were just jabbering about what's going on in the market and stuff. And the hedge fund dudes that he knows, they are heavy into banks, and specifically banks that do real estate deals. They are driving around the country, flying around the country, looking at banks, looking at their balance sheets, looking at the properties that they have on the balance sheet. And he told me a couple things, guys. He said, first of all, a lot of people have not fully yet realized. Now, maybe you guys have, but I'm talking about in America. He said a lot of people have not yet realized that many of these banks and hedge funds have loans in their books for a commercial property that is sitting empty. The average person in America probably has no idea the rug pull that some of these banks are sitting on top of. That was one interesting thing that he said. But the other thing that he said was he got the heads up. My client, my friend, got the heads up in December that Silicon Valley Bank was in trouble. So don't tell me this business in the news that nobody fucking knew. Now, I've known this guy. His kids are almost in high school. I've known him since his kids were toddlers. I trust what he says. If he told me that he got the heads up in December that Silicon Valley Bank was in trouble, people fucking knew. I mean, they were delaying the inevitable. And I told him today, I was like, and by the way, I forgot to tell you last week, next time you hear something like that, let me fucking know so we can short that bitch or buy puts or something, damn it. What did he tell me today? Oh, his idea. He said another thing that his hedge fund buddies have talked to him about was buying. I have not looked into this before, but I guess it's a thing. I'll look into it some more tomorrow. Maybe some of you are like, "Oh yeah, Tony, I already know about that." How do you not know about that, Tony? I don't fuck around with bonds a whole lot, but he was saying something along the lines of that these guys are looking at buying calls on these short-term treasuries because if the market crashes and then the Fed might be forced to cut rates. It's kind of like a long shot play. If you follow what I'm saying, or maybe it was the long-term bonds. Anyways, if the rates get cut by the Fed, if they were to take a major change in position, and all of these bonds that are really depressed in value right now could soar back up to their normal value. So I need to sleep on that. And then when I'm fresh in the morning, I'm tired as a dog, you guys. When I'm fresh mentally in the morning, I'm going to look up exactly what the hell he was talking about and see if I can figure out that play. Damrick, I have not recommended any specific dividend paying stocks, but I do have 1 or 2 videos for you on the channel on dividend stocks, Damrick, with some tools for you to go in and select the ones that meet your criteria. Now, I am going to be doing, now that we're behind, the AMC vote is behind us, I'm going to be doing some more varied content on blue chip stocks that I'm looking at right now where the market's depressed, and I'll see if I can throw in some possible dividend ones in there for you. But in the meantime, just do a search on my channel for top dividend stocks of 2022. And there are no specific recommendations, but there are 2 or 3 good tools that I give to you in there to find the very best dividend stocks. What is poker for on our Discord? Anya, we do have a poker room with a virtual poker table. Yes, we can play poker in the Discord. Maybe we'll do that one night when we if I ever get on a schedule where I can be caught up with you guys and we're not trying to get a bunch of questions answered. We're just going to sit around and have some drinks. Maybe next week when we do the next beer tasting, it'll be no stock talk. You could just come in here and watch me lose a bunch of money to Tyler and Super Steven playing poker. Maybe KC Shaw will come in. There are a lot of virtual poker games that go on in Discord. And yes, we do have it set up in ours also. It's not something that we regularly use on this channel. If I'm playing poker in Discord, I'm usually over in someone else's Discord. Corey says, I got tired of popcorn working there. You worked at AMC, Corey? I take home 4-foot bags that should have hit the garbage bin. Accidentally landed in my truck. I love it. While I was looking through the Walmart site to see if they had any AMC popcorn left at my local store, A, they did not have any left. B, guess who did have some left? Had some left. Every fucking body else. Everybody else had popcorn left. AMC is sold out. Now, granted, I like I said, guys, I've worked in new product ramp up, not in food, but it's the same damn process. When you're starting production on something, they probably have one shift. Normally the way we did it, we had one shift on one line, get production up, make sure there's no kinks in the process, get things rolling, and then you kind of have your product ramp. You never start production at 100% capacity. In fact, sales used to fight me. They would be so angry when I'd tell them, that Tony, we want to sell 20 billion of these next week, the first week the product launches. We want to have a big launch. We want a big press release. And I'm like, no, we're not launching. I'm making up the numbers. It wasn't 20 billion. We are not launching the product at that volume. We need to prove out the process. We need to train people. But here's our schedule where we're going to add shifts. And if we need to, we can add a third shift. And then if we need to, we can add a second line. I am quite certain that AMC is doing the same thing. So between now and April, I'm sure they have a production ramp, and you're going to see more and more steady supply. And then it becomes a balancing act on their part to make sure they have enough production going to meet the demand. And then they're going to hope that they don't ramp up 3 lines, 3 shifts, and then everybody stops buying it. Because then what? Now you got a bunch of people hired and a bunch of inventory piling up. It's a tricky game to do that. So Anyways, don't feel bad if they don't have any. They're working through the production. They'll get the supply chain going. And this is very normal. They're doing it the correct way. Come to Vegas April 28th when Adam Aaron. All right, Steven, I'm going to put you on with Scarlett, and if you can get the approval, I'll be there. I can already hear, you're not going to Vegas by yourself. Woo. Let's take a poll. Should Tony go to Vegas by himself? Well, we'll go by what you guys say. Shh. Don't tell Scarlett. Canuckitude says, when I search the U.S. Walmart website, AMC popcorn doesn't even come up. So I looked, Canuckitude. I didn't look at the U.S. Walmart site. I looked at half a dozen close by me, and only the specific store, the one store that had it in stock, showed the popcorn. All the rest of the Walmarts in Austin did not show it at all. So they must have it really dialed in to only show product that is available locally in this specific store. Maybe eventually when they get enough in the warehouse, in the distribution centers of Walmart, you might be able to find it, around the whole U.S. If you're just doing I don't even know if there's a capability to search all of Walmart generically, not a specific location. I guess there probably is, but I see a lot of yes votes. Take Scarlett. She can shop. She's back working now, Anya, so no vacation for her. What questions do you guys want Stephen to ask Adam Aaron on April 28th? That is interesting timing, Stephen, right after the court case, April 27th date. Angelina says, what happens if all the banks fail? That is a good question, something good to think about, Angelina. I think that, potentially what I kind of envision working out or happening, if we get multiple banks failing, you're going to see everything shut down, including the stock market. You're going to see first everything crash. You're going to see all sorts, everything in the stock market crash. In fact, I might be looking at some far out of the money index puts just as a little flyer, a very speculative bet. But you could, and even if it does crash, if it crashes and I got puts and then they close the stock market for 2 days, well, then what? Then I can't sell my puts. So how useful is that? And then they fix it and magically reopen the stock market, and all of a sudden the puts that I thought I was going to be rich on are, back underwater again. I don't know if I'm going to do that or not, but I think, the stock market will see a major, downtick, everything. They'll close the stock market. They'll go figure out, let's get everybody in a room. Janet, Jerome, Warren Buffett, Kevin Spacey. Some of y'all get that reference. Brad Pitt. Everybody get in a room. Let's figure this shit out. What are we going to tell the public? All right. You get to survive, and you get to survive, and you get to survive, and you suck. Bye. One guy's going to take the fall, and then they'll come out with their plan and magically reopen everything. I almost started rewatching Margin Call. I'm going to finish that this weekend. I haven't watched it in a good year. It felt like this was a good week to watch Margin Call again. Kevin Spacey. Kevin Spacey and who was it? Jeremy Irons. Oh, by the way, did you guys see that poor gentleman? What's his name? That was one of the stars on The Wire. And what else was he on? One of these movies that's coming up. John Wick series. Great actor. I wish I could remember his name. Anyways, he passed away at the age of 60. Every time someone dies, Scarlett's like, "How old was he?" I was like, 60. She's like, "Yeah, you're almost 60. I ain't dying soon. I ain't going down easy." We got too much clickbait to bust, Scarlett. Hey, we ain't going down with a fight. Without a fight. Lance Reddick, was that his name? Saheb says, is there any correlation between banks going under and their short positions? Do they press the reset button? The amount of different risk that these banks have on in their books is probably beyond most of our ability to comprehend. We know that they have bonds. We know that they have loans. We know that they own mortgages. We know that they have short positions. Yes. We know that they have derivatives. We know that they have total return swaps. And they also have a whole nother set of shit that is off the balance sheet. They do these swap tricks to keep things off the balance sheet. It is just ridiculous. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how to properly account for you how much risk they are at or where any particular bank is mostly at risk. I think the biggest problem that a big bank is going to have would be something like what happened with Silicon Valley, where they had a shit ton. They were overweighted in these hold to maturity long-term bonds that were paying really low interest rates, and then people started wanting their money, and what are they going to do? I mean, those things have lost a lot of value. Now they're forced to sell bonds at a discount. That was not a good situation. So they're like, well, let's do an equity raise. Well, that scared people. That was kind of an isolated thing, but other banks could have other similar or different risks, like a collateral risk from commercial real estate, or from a hedge fund that owes them $1 billion that goes bust. It's just impossible for me. I'm not a banking. I don't spend a lot of time looking at bank company balance sheets. Let's put it that way. Because I don't invest in banks. I've spent more time looking at bank balance sheets in the last week than I have in the last 5 years. So, hard for me to answer that with any certainty, Saheb. I would just say that whatever we think we know is just the tip of the iceberg. I see a couple of y'all asking about the kindergarten lawsuit against AMC. The judge, as far as I know, has not thrown it out yet. AMC filed a motion to dismiss. That will probably get reviewed by the judge this coming week. So we'll find out something on that. If I was a betting man, and I am, I would bet we'd know something by Wednesday on that. Beyond that, if AMC's motion is not granted, then we'll probably go into April 27th. And by my non-attorney reading of the lawsuit, and having spent almost 2 years now reading the filings, in my non-expert opinion, Nothing that AMC did was illegal. I've provided you guys all the documentation on other videos showing you exactly. I'm just going to recap it like this. Everything that is in AMC's filings is literally boilerplate information. What does that mean? You could fucking chat GPT it and get the same wording because it is so fucking common in companies that are incorporated in Delaware. There's nothing illegal about what AMC did. I found the exact same wording in several other companies. I found the exact same wording of what AMC did with Ape in a fucking attorney's website of pay us $200 and you can download this blank document, which is standard boilerplate information of how to create a preferred share depository receipt in Delaware. Everything they've done, other people have already done. There's zero illegal about it. If the judge finds something here illegal, I would be blown away. And there's going to be other companies that are going to have to file. I forget what the motion for forgiveness is. But if a adverse ruling happens and you have similar wording in your documents, you got to basically go tell the court, can we get a mulligan on this? Because we've had this for 10 years too, and you just ruled against AMC, so we need you to give us an all clear or something. Sorry, I'm not an attorney. I forget what the word is for that, but there's nothing illegal about what AMC did with AMC and Ape. Literally have seen the same wording in other companies' filings. The only thing I found that was a gray area was AMC saying that ComputerShare should vote in proportion. Any non-cast votes would be vote in proportion with the cast votes. That is a gray area because every other company, again, that had the exact same word, exact same documents as AMC, in their filings, they said the transfer agent or the ComputerShare uncast votes will not be voted. That's what every other single one that I looked at said they would not be voted. Now, there's no law that says you can't vote them. AMC's pushing the boundaries there. There's NYSE Rule 452, if I recall correctly, that says in a special election, a broker cannot vote non-cast votes, but there's no rule or law that says that ComputerShare can't. ComputerShare is not a broker. So AMC is 100% within their rights. There's no laws being violated. Are they pushing the boundaries? Yeah, but did they violate a law? No. So that would be the most interesting thing for me to see the judge make a decision on if she doesn't just cast it out. And at this point, that's really a moot point because the AMC common stock holders overwhelmingly approved it anyways. That doesn't even matter what happened at ComputerShare. As people are still wasting their time and energy complaining about this, writing letters to judges and shit. You're wasting your time, in my opinion. Kindergarten lawsuit, I call it. If I can know the filings and know that all of this stuff is all on the up and up and many, many other companies do this, I know some goddamn attorney in Connecticut or wherever the hell these attorneys are, know that this is a kindergarten lawsuit. Edward says, was it done on purpose to give them time to keep shorting AMC? That is a good question. These are the questions you should be asking. I've heard a lot of great theories. It was done on purpose to give them more time, or some people are even saying Antara is doing it because they wanted to figure out ways to make more profit. Guys, hey, as far as I'm concerned, all of those theories could be possible. I have no idea. That would be pure speculation on my part, and I try not to do that. Daryl says, do you think market structure edge gives you an edge? I haven't, Daryl, I spent a total of about an hour looking through some of his videos. I'm not super familiar with the product. I can't vouch for his product, but it is on my list to spend more time trying to understand it. The reason I wanted Tim to come on, Tim Quast of Market Structure Edge, is because he seemed to me, based on looking at him on Twitter and looking at his videos and his product, he seemed like a guy that was a subject matter expert in the area of daily short volume and not really involved in the whole meme stock retail nonsense. So I felt like he could be a good outside person just to give us an unbiased opinion. And that's what I brought him on for. After that, you heard what he said. Do your own DD on him, on his product, on his models. I think he offers a 30-day free trial on the product. I don't even know how expensive it is after that. I haven't got that far. But what I saw when I spent an hour looking at it, it looked pretty legit to me. Like this could explain a lot of the things that we've been missing. So I have every day so many things that I'm trying to do. Like I tend to bucketize things. All right, market structure edge is on my list of stuff to go spend more time to look into, but it hasn't risen to the top of the stack just yet. Even just, if you think that has some validity to it, that daily short volume, basically what he said, if I could boil down 90 minutes into a couple sentences, he's basically suggesting that everything we've thought is 100% backwards. That when the daily short volume is going up 55, 60, 65%, they are flooding the market with shorts, and you don't want to be buying into that. I literally see people on Twitter saying, my indicator says the daily short volume is going up. Buy. It's about to blast off. And then these people get absolutely wrecked. These people on Twitter, I watch them over and over every play. Daily short volume's going up. We're going to be so fucking rich. Boom, they get wrecked. I'm like, why does that keep happening? And that's what put me on the search to find someone like Tim to explain, like, how do these guys that have tens of thousands of followers keep on getting this so wrong? And when I see their track record, these pumpers that have daily short volume as a leading indicator for what you guys should be buying, when I see them wrecking your portfolios over and over with bad calls, and then I see Tim explain it, I'm like, oh, well, that might make sense. I don't know if it makes sense. That we're going to all figure this out together. But maybe the reason people keep getting wrecked is because we are thinking about it completely the wrong way. This is a discussion that will be ongoing. You guys do your work. I'm going to do my work. We'll circle the wagons back and figure it out. Really, I just wanted to start the conversation. Anya says, I thought Tim said they were tracking retail buying, and whenever we let up, they short. I don't remember, Anya. I need to go back and watch that interview again. And the other thing that I'm not clear on, so if he calls supply the daily short volume, that's the supply. They're flooding the market with shorts. I need to get a better understanding from him, all right? And I asked him the question, but I don't know that he answered it to my satisfaction. If that is supply, how are you measuring demand, really? What is the metric? And I don't know if he would even tell me that, because maybe that would give away his model or make his tool useless. But I am going to follow up with him. God damn. Well, these cigars are not staying lit, so it's not getting a good review from me. Freaking Gurkha, world's finest cigar that won't stay lit. It said, I think it said number 5 most popular in the store. All right, got to refill my lighter here. Anya says, "Isn't demand retail?" See, this is the mind flip you need to do to understand the market structure edge model. Anya, is when it took me a couple times of listening to his videos to untwist my mind. Now, our understanding of supply and demand is not incorrect, right? There's basic definitions of supply and demand in the stock market. However, in his model, he has a different meaning for supply and demand, and it is not in conflict with what we know. He's just using that to define his model. Hopefully that makes sense. He's taking 2 indicators and giving them a name that is shared by what we know of as supply and demand. It doesn't mean that what we call supply and demand is incorrect when you're talking about what moves a stock price. He's just using those words to define how his model works. I know that's confusing. It was confusing to me also. Angelina says he's with the trading groups. I don't trust these guys. Yeah, I get it, Angelina. I'm not telling you to trust them. You can just forget everything he said. You can do your own DD on him. Whatever you guys want to do. He was gracious enough to give us 90 minutes of his time and try and provide us some expert opinions on stuff. And what we do with it from there, guys, that is up to us. I did not bring him on vouching for everything he said. I brought him on to get my own questions answered. And while I was doing that, getting my questions answered, long-standing questions that I've had, to share that experience with you guys. I could have just gave him a phone call, but he was gracious enough to do it live. And, the brain trust, all of us together can sort out whether or not it makes sense. Just casting it aside because you say, well, he's a Wall Street guy, I don't trust him. I think that's the wrong approach. He gave you a lot of good info. Now dig into it and see if it makes sense or not. That's the reasonable way to do it. Blazin says demand is not retail. Yeah, I mean, in particular, Blazin, that is a good point to bring up. Like, guys, in any stock, retail is far from the biggest buyer. If you think we're the biggest buyer and seller on any given day of AMC or anything, you are sadly mistaken. We're a fraction of the total buying. That's institutions and ETFs and hedge funds and high-speed trading firms, are the ones that are doing the vast majority of the trading. We're, I don't know, on maybe a popular retail stock like AMC. What do you guys think in the chat? 20% of the daily volume, if we're lucky. We're not the demand. Now, when you get a FOMO event happening, probably what we're spending on a ticker or a small float stock, like you guys know all the small float ones we play every week. That's probably a lot of retail, at least in the beginning. And then the high-speed trading firms sniff that out real quick, and they jump on board with you. Don't think that you're trading those micro float stocks by yourself. As soon as the percentage gain on that ticker starts going up, you're getting the big boys in there. Maybe not a Citadel, but the high-speed trading companies, they're going to jump in and ride that wave with you. Blazin says, I trust him. I just don't know if his software is worth $99 a month. Yeah, thank you, Blazin. I didn't even know how much it cost. I've got a shit ton of tools that I'm already paying for. I mean, maybe at some point, if we get enough members on this channel, or I can, as I add members to the channel, you hit that little join button down below if you're on a phone. That money goes to me having tools to provide you guys all this information. Dilution tracker, Fintel, Ortex, I would give his tool a try. But, it's not something that I just go off and spend money on my own, but, the bigger the channel gets over time, the more tools we'll have, because, then it just becomes easy to afford. Steven, you want to come online and tell us a story about how you shift the supply line as a market maker? Let me know in the chat if you want to come on. You don't need to come on camera. I can just put you on voice on the Discord. Steven and I were talking about this in the Discord. Damrick says if his software works so well, he wouldn't need $99 a month. Well, I mean, Damrick, everybody has a right to earn a living, I think, and it is expensive to develop a tool, and then to run a business is expensive, and to have insurance and all the website stuff related to providing that tool. So I'm not going to fault anybody for charging for their product. Steven, is Steven still around? Steven. Speaking of plays that cratered really quickly and people pumping plays when they shouldn't. How about Bed Bath & Beyond? Anybody stuck in Bed Bath & Beyond? Based on anybody that you follow on YouTube or Twitter telling you that it's about to blow up because of Gamma Ramp. If you're in that boat, you bought some BBBY because someone told you it was going to blow up because of Gamma Ramp, I'm guessing that you don't watch my channel on a regular basis. Bravscar, does anyone remember that clickbaiter back in the day that had his little dog? You must be talking about the data scientist. Hello, guys. I'm Andrew Momony. I am a data scientist, and this is my dog, Rover. He's got his own camera. Did he have his own camera, or he just... that dog was always, like, resting in a cubicle. I saw Andrew Momony way back in the day, May 2021. I was like, all this guy does is read Reddit posts. What am I learning from him? He provides no value. Nothing against him. I'm sure he's a nice guy. But I could not learn anything from him. I don't need someone to read me Reddit posts. And surprisingly, there's quite a few of those still around. Some of those people have survived all this time. 20 videos a day reading Reddit posts. Oh, so-and-so on Twitter just said AMC is about to mow us. Let me read this post to you. Don't forget to sign up on Moomoo. Mullen stock, David Mullen. David Mullen. Is that David Mishery? Is David Mishery in the chat? Guys, I think I just did a video on Mullen. Go watch the video. I don't want to bring the room down. Go watch my Mullen video and leave me a comment there if you got questions. You'll get all caught up on Mullen in 5 minutes. Professor Meatball. Yeah, that was the dog's name. If the dog was a professor, I guess that explains why all Andrew could do was read posts from Twitter, from Reddit. God damn it, fucking cigar. Piece of shit. Can't even stay lit between puffs. What is this nonsense? I want a refund. I bought this was a value pack of like, how many are in here? 6, 1, 2, 3, 6. If the second one's bad like this, I'm taking the shit back. This is ridiculous. Demrick says, MMTLP question, how can the shorts carry over to a non-tradable private company? How could they ever cover? The exact mechanics of how that happens, that I cannot tell you, Demrick. What I can tell you is this. When you are an institution and you're borrowing from another institution, and you're borrowing shares, you're signing a lending agreement, right? A lot of people think that, it's like when they borrow stocks on Webull or Fidelity to short, and you just punch a button and the broker tells you it's going to be 5% or 3% or 120%. What retail does when you have a shorting account is very different than what institutions do. They have all manners of contracts. Some of them are fixed rate. Some of them are fixed term. Some of them are variable rate. Some of them are variable term. And it's between the lender and the borrower, the shorter, does the lender want the shares back? And why would they? Why would they if it's going to a private company? This is what I tried to explain back in August or September. And I'll tell you, how did I know that? Why was I telling you guys back in August, sell at $10? It's not because I saw the lending agreements. It's not that there's no regulations about this. They can do whatever the fuck they want, guys. The only one that makes a short cover is the lender. If the lender comes up with a different agreement with the shorter, you are screwed. And so I asked someone who is a big time short. I asked him a very specific question, but the gist of that question was, are these guys going to have to cover on MMTLP? And I did not tell him the ticker. I just explained the situation. He said, absolutely not. They're not going to have to cover. This guy, even though he only answers 1 out of 10 questions I send him, he's not like my best bud. I mean, I'm a little thorn in his side. He was nice enough to answer that one. And when he's answered me something, he has not been wrong. So that was all I needed to know. I know that lending agreements between institutions and lenders are custom agreements. They can do whatever the fuck they want. And I got I already know that. That's just a fact. Then I got a second point of validation from reaching out to a well-known short and asking him a scenario, and he confirmed that they would not have to cover. That was enough for me right then to say, you got to get out of this play when it peaks. And if you're listening to some lady in a bird hat telling you she knows how the market works, you're probably going to get rickrolled. And I did my best nicely to a couple times suggest to people, take the fucking money and move on to the next play. Oh, Tony, we want it to go down to 0 or a court case and we don't care. Well, Now you're understanding why the court case and all this shit sucks, because you have no certainty on what's going to happen. You're worried about it every day, and your money's just dead in the water until NextBridge at some point in the future does an IPO. I don't think that any of these court cases are going anywhere. I just want to gain a few people's trust, one or two of you at a time, that I'm trying to help you capture profits and move on. And there was that opportunity in MMTLP, and if you're stuck in it now because you listen to Bird Hat Lady, I sympathize. I have empathy for you, and I certainly wish you the best in getting resolution of that. And the light at the end of the tunnel is there might be a NextBridge IPO at some point down the road. But in the meantime, you know, you guys have been pushing FINRA, and you've gotten a little bit of, you've gotten their attention, but I don't think you're going to win anything. Anya says, please do investing for dummies. I need to start from the basics. Yeah, Anya, I mean, what kind of topics do you want to see? I'll tell you the basic rules, Anya. The basic rules. First of all, if you don't know what you're doing, paper trade. Second of all, if you don't know what you're doing, get some professional advice. Third thing, if you don't know what you're doing, start out investing in mutual funds or ETFs. But after you get past that point, or if you just say, I want to skip all that, I just want to start investing. Okay, I hear you. It's alluring. I get it. I want you to, whatever capital you're starting with, whether it's 500, 1,000, 5,000, 25,000, I want you to bucketize it and not put all of your money in one play. And I want you to be able to understand risk in the different stocks that you're picking. Like if all of your stock picks are coming from some guy on Twitter giving you a short interest report, you are going to lose all your money. If you're putting all your money into a stock that some guy on Twitter said, this one's going to blow because it's got 80%, what have we seen? It's got 500% short interest. If you're listening to people like that, you are going to lose all your money. Maybe not on the first play, but by the second or third one, you will. So I want you to bucketize your investments, learn how to figure out how risky they are. Non-risky would be the boring, big blue chip companies, ones that are not going to mow ass tomorrow, but they'll give you a nice steady 7, 10, 15, 20% return. Maybe pay a dividend. They're very safe. They're not going to decline as much in a bear market as a high beta stock like AMC, GameStop, what have you. Act Holdings, and I mean, we got thousands of them that are high beta that just get wrecked in a bear market. Not because there's necessarily anything wrong with those companies, but they're not making profits, and they are more volatile. In a bear market, they go down more. In a bull market, they'll go back up more. But it is painful. It's painful to hold those into a bear market, and I know many of you are. But whenever this is done, if you survive all the way through mentally, physically, emotionally, and the companies don't go bankrupt, they will go up faster than the market when things turn around. The question is, when is that, right? When are things going to turn around? So understand your risks in every play. Are you picking solid, safe stocks with a history of increasing price over the last 10, 20 years and increasing profits? Or are you fixating on companies that don't have profits? The chart is just going down, 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 down. And some guy told you that it's guaranteed moonshot because the short interest is 800%. If you're doing that, you're playing with too much risk, in my opinion. So we need to bucketize those risky plays. I'm not saying don't do them. I enjoy them too, but you got to bucketize them to a small amount of your portfolio. That keeps it fun. It keeps it interesting. And then put the rest of your whatever 500, 5,000, put it in more stable plays. That would be my recommendation. That's not for everybody. It's really boring for a lot of people to hear that. I want to be a millionaire tomorrow, Tony Denaro. Well, there are plenty of brand new traders to give you ideas for that, but sadly, many of them will not be with us in another year. They're going to blow up their accounts. All right, Steven says you can send me an invite. All right, let's talk about. Hang on, Steven. Let's talk. Oh shit, Steven, go in Discord because I'm not on Restream tonight. So I'm just gonna go into. Let's go into one of the voice chat rooms on Discord, Steven, and my Discord. Which one should we do? Let's go into the champagne room, Steven. Juicy says, I was loading up on Lucid. I just did the Mullen video, guys. Next on the list is updates on Polestar and my. I don't know that I don't remember if I've done a Lucid video, but I want to get something out on all of these EV companies. So there is updates coming on Lucid, Rivian, and Polestar. They all got a lot of problems right now. Lucid and Rivian specifically. Polestar doesn't necessarily have problems, but they're still stuck in that position of they're in production on multiple continents. They have, I think, 100,000 vehicles out on the road, which is great. They're way ahead of everybody else. But you'll come to find out as you're in these plays, you can have a lot of cars in production and still be losing money. That's why it's going to be a long time before Mullen starts turning a profit. A long time, Mr. David Mullen in the chat. Floyd says, has all fraud been ruled out? What are we talking about, David? I mean, Floyd. We're talking about fraud in what? There's always fraud, Floyd. Fraud comes with the territory. Banking, Wall Street, meme stocks. There's always fraud. There's fraud. There's illegality. There's mostly a lot of crossing the gray line. They pay really good attorneys and smart finance dudes and hire ex-SEC officers to come in and tell them how to get around the rules. Maybe fraud is too strong of a word, but there's all sorts of rule bending going on. Dancing on the edge. Angelina says, I can only drink this. The genesis of that name, Angelina, had nothing to do with champagne. A couple of guys will know. A couple of gentlemen will know where the name Champagne Room comes from. The Lucid vehicles are really sweet, yeah. But it's such a pretty car. Such a pretty car, Juicy. It is a beautiful car, but we got to separate our love for the vehicle and the numbers. We could admire the car. We can lust after the car. We could wish we had one. But we got to, in the beginning stages, we got to separate that emotion and look logically at the numbers. The balance sheet, the income statement, cash flows, how much cash they have, what the production looks like, and see how long is it going to take for them to get profitable. Because that, until then, much like some other companies you know of, that are losing money, these stocks are going to be losers. That doesn't mean that the company sucks. When I say that, people always hear, oh, the stock's a loser. Guys, I like a lot of companies. You know, it's like you see a girl at a bar and she is smoking hot. And you can admire that, but then she lights up a cigarette and you're like, yeah, that's not really for me, you know? Same with some stocks. I can admire a company, but then once you get a look under the hood, you're like, well, you know, that's not really for me. What's up, Steven? Audio check. I'm doing swell. I can hear you. Let's see if the audience can hear you. And let me check my desktop volume here. Hang on one second. Let me see if I can turn this volume up. Okay, how about now? Can y'all hear him? Test 1, 2. How about now, Blazin'? He still says no. All right, what's going on here? How come I can hear you and they can't hear you? Let me check the desktop. Let me check my settings in Streamlabs here. I probably have desktop volume turned off. Where is it? Hang on, it looks like desktop volume disappeared off my mixer. Stand by 1 second, Steven. Add audio input capture. Add. Bear with me 1 second, guys. Desktop audio. Where the fuck is it? Good Lord, come on. Shouldn't be this hard, Steven. Display capture, audio input capture, window, audio. It should just be under audio input. Add source. Device. When I go to device, it's not giving me desktop audio as an option. What the hell? Let me check one other thing. I'm going to go to a different screen view and see if it's on another screen. Let's get rid of that.
Chat's saying that you're echoing now.
Yeah, I was trying to add sources. Okay, they should be able to hear you now.
Hello, everybody. I don't know if you can hear me.
All right, they can hear you.
Awesome. Thank you for inviting me, Tony.
Yeah, so for those that aren't familiar with your job, tell us what you do and recap the conversation we were having related to Tim Quast. And not that Tim does this, but he was trying to explain to us how the market makers are always moving the line, you know, changing the supply, so to speak. Run us through what you do. Tell us how you felt when you heard him talking about that based on your job and your experience.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. Some of you already know me as Super Steven. I work in Las Vegas as a risk management trader for a sports betting company, a prominent one, where we facilitate markets in sports, international and across all legalized states. And while I was listening to Tony's guest, I don't have professional experience in stock market, but I do within the sports betting realm. And just hearing him talk about the markets in terms of the stocks, there was huge similarities between what I heard him say and what I actually do on a day-to-day life. Like one statement that stood out to me was market makers are facilitating markets for one day and one day only. Their main goal is to achieve net neutrality for the first day. And it's kind of like how I do it,
That statement, I got a lot of questions on that. Follow-up comments, like what did he mean? Like the market makers are trying to stay flat or net neutral on risk. There's been, Stephen, this common myth that the market makers are the evil guys that are against us. So talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So it's, how do I say? Depending on the sport, all sports and all markets are different, right? So for me, for example, I'm an expert in NHL hockey. So for example, if someone comes in and bets a certain side, so say you have the Dallas Stars, Tony probably likes them, and then maybe the Vegas Golden Knights, right? So say someone comes in and bets $10 million on the Stars, and then someone else comes in and bets $20 million on the Golden Knights, right? You're over leveraged on one side. So your goal is to create what's called the VIG. I don't know, Tony, what they call that in the stock market, but the VIG essentially is the amount of money that the market maker collects for creating the trade or for facilitating the bets on both sides.
We call it the spread.
The spread. Is that what it is in options?
Not in options, but that's where the market maker makes their money, the difference between the bid and the ask.
Yep, that's it. The spread. So my goal is to create the spread, maintain the spread, and because look, at the end of the day, after every trading day, so in Las Vegas, it begins at 3 a.m. and it ends at 3 a.m. So I have 24 hours to make a certain amount of money or else I'm in trouble, essentially. So that's how it is facilitated in our gaming days, they call it. So depending on the sport or the market that I'm specializing in, that's my goal over the course of that entire trading slate. They call it a slate. So say there's 10 games of hockey. My goal is to achieve the neutrality over the 10 games. Now, sometimes it doesn't always work that way. Surprises happen. Anything can happen in sports, but you have to be able to adjust the lines on the fly. I do deal with algorithmic trading, but some of it's manual, and that's where my expertise in hockey comes in. I got to know the players. I got to know who's injured. I got to know, personal things. Like I got to be in tune with these players, just like maybe stocks,
Yeah.
So, but overall, the goal is, at the end of the day, I draft reports. I say, hey, these are the top 10, what I call market movers. So, Tony, you mentioned earlier, does retail move the price? What I can say for what I do, they don't move the price. So my goal in what I do is to classify players. So we talk about base jumpers or chalk eaters or there's a lot of ways you can classify a player.
I thought it was bridge jumpers.
Yeah, so a bridge jumper, for anyone who's unfamiliar in the chat, a bridge jumper is someone who wagers a lot of money, say $100,000, to win $100. Maybe because in that moment it's a guarantee or a perceived guarantee. Say like in soccer, you're up by 5 goals. You can't really come back from that. So there are people that wager 100,000 just to pick up a quick $100, and they do that over and over again. And then one day they typically get caught, and they lose everything, and it makes them want to jump off a bridge. So the slang is bridge jumper. But the one I wanted to talk to you about, Tony, is called a market mover. We have at least the top 10 players that I keep an eye on. And those guys, they're either sharp, meaning they have positive net gains on their accounts. And the sharp people tend to move markets. And those are the ones I'm really focused on. It's not retail. It's the guy who comes in with $2 million on the Eagles that I'm looking at for the Super Bowl.
Is that why y'all cut me off?
Yeah. So, and I do that too, Tony. If someone is sharp and I believe that they're beating us up pretty bad and it's 100% legal, for example, the apes say market manipulation, but a lot of this stuff is legal. You go into a casino and if you come up 50 grand on a blackjack table, you're getting limited.
Or they'll walk you out.
Right. And it's a private company. They reserve the right to refuse you service. So I cut people down on the daily. If they're winning too much, I will cut you down. I have a guy, Tony, he's so sharp at soccer. He's out of the country. He just knows what he's doing. I cut him down to 1%.
Damn.
That's how good he is. He turned $100 into $500,000, and I cut him down to 1%. So he was a dime better. That means that he was betting $1,000 a game, right? I cut him down to 1%, so he could only bet like $10.
Basically, you're forcing him to move along to someone else.
Yes, I don't refuse him service completely, but I what do you call that?
Disincentivize.
Yes. So then what happens is that guy that was up a lot of money, he started going on a losing streak. So instead of cutting him down, I started raising his limits. This is what it is, guys, to be a market maker. He started losing, so I raised his limits back up to 1,000, and he gave it all back.
You're trying to manipulate him into becoming a bridge jumper.
Yes. So he ended up actually giving back the entire amount that he won.
Yeah, it happens. That's like when I hear my friend up in New York say, guys, we're going to 10X on this play, and then we're going to take all that money. We're going to put it in the next play. I'm looking for the next penny stock. We're going to put all of it in that one. We're going to 20X that one. Then we're going to find another penny stock, and we're going to 50X that one, and we're going to be good. I'm like, nope, you're going to be a bridge jumper. Because you banked, and you thought you were undefeatable, and you banked again, and you're like, I got this figured out, and then whoop, they fucking rug pull you because nobody's luck is that good. I mean, sometimes people's luck are that good, right, Steven? But eventually the luck runs out. You got to start compartmentalizing your portfolio and not roll the whole thing into play after play.
Yes, right? Definitely.
Have your bag and then take a percentage and gamble it. Don't just keep rolling it into the next play. You're going to lose eventually.
But you know what I do, Tony, with those kind of players? Like, say, Tony, say you're really sharp on rodeo, right? Like, you just kind of know what guy is like good on that rodeo, Yeah. I'll cut you down on rodeo to 1%, and I'll let you gamble 50% on everything else. So then they end up,
Steven, fuck you.
You know what I mean? So they end up essentially stop playing on the sharp stuff, and then they go and bet basketball or something they're unfamiliar with, like a penny stock, right? Like, it's the same thing. They end up giving it back. So, and it's completely legal to do this. Is it manipulation? Technically it is, but that's what you signed up for.
Someone asked me, was it illegal? What the market makers or the lenders and the institutions did on MMTLP. Should we write letters? Should we do a lawsuit? I was like, it is. You might perceive it as immoral and unfair, but I do not think, in my honest opinion, that there was anything illegal that happened. You got played by the system because you didn't understand the rules. And you know how I explain that, Steven? You're gonna like this example. I explained it to my first humiliating loss in one of your chess tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
Why did I lose? I know how to play chess. I was ahead in the match. I had dominance over the board. Yep. I was about to win, but why did I lose? Because I didn't understand the fucking rules.
Yes.
I did not understand the rules of a timed match, and that was not Adam Aaron's fault. That was not John Berta's fault. That was my fault for not understanding the rules of the game I was playing. So I had to eat crow and take my loss like a man. And I blame nobody. You guys even gave me a chance for a do-over. You gave me a chance for a do-over, and I said no. I mean, that was my fault. I mean, I tell you guys the same thing in the stock market. If you put too much into Party City and you lost it all, or you put too much in MMTLP and you're stuck now, that's not Finra's fault. That's not John Berta's fault. That's only our fault for not understanding the rules of the game and the ways they have to keep our money. So for that reason, I want you guys to get smarter at taking profits when they're right there. Take the fucking profits.
Yep, Tony, in my line of work, it's referred to as house rules. So, for example, people lose all the time. They call and complain with customer service, and they say, "Let me speak to the trading team because I should have won," but in reality they lost. And we don't luckily take calls, but we relay it to the service agent for them to read the house rules under subsection whatever soccer, and then they learn really quick.
It is a painful lesson. I empathize with you. It was humility. How many chess tournaments have I been in since that day, Stephen?
0.
0. It's a painful lesson. It's smart when you lose because you didn't understand the rules, or you stepped on a field without reading the playbook, or even knowing you didn't even know a fucking playbook existed. But that's why, as retail traders, guys, you got to humble yourself to realize we do not understand all the fucking tricks they have up their sleeve. Yep. And if you get up in a play, take the fucking profits.
Yes, and I would argue, Tony, that is what actually hurts, hurting the hedge fund or hurting the market maker is taking the profit, because when you run away with it, I can't recover it. But I'll give you an example. There's a VIP player I give him $500 in free bets every day. And what does he do with it? He wins a lot, and then he gives it all back. But if he just won and walked away, I would lose. But they can't resist it, when you're given perceived free money, right? Because if you jump in a play and it runs up, and you realize those gains, it feels like it was free. It feels good, right? To feel right. But you have to take them. You can't give them back, That's one thing I learned the hard way myself.
I see one comment here in the chat. Someone said, where is it? Not knowing the rules is not the same as changing the rules at the end of the game, Hector says. And I agree, guys. FINRA did dirty on the MMTLP folks. They did you dirty. No argument for me there. I totally sympathize. However, they're going to have all sorts of exemptions to say we did it for your protection. What we did was not illegal, yada, yada, yada. You got to expect the unexpected is, I guess, my lesson from that. And yeah, it sucks. But I mean, you were at $10 and you decided to go for broke, knowing the risks of that and watching it. It's going down. It's going down. The shorts are scared. No, I was trying to, as gently as I can, tell you it's going down for a reason. It's not because they're scared. It's because the smart money's leaving and the shorts are piling on. We need to wake up collectively from seeing this happen time after time, that they're not scared. Do you disagree, Stephen?
No, I don't believe shorts are scared.
In MMTLP, they were not scared, and in Bed Bath & Beyond right now, I'm seeing the same thing. They're so scared. Yeah, they're so scared they've dropped it to 75 cents on Friday. Yeah, I mean, well, when you're in a bear market, I mean, you could short anything and come out okay. Like the wind is at their back. That does not mean, guys, that they can't be caught off guard with something, right? We get lucky every now and then. Yep. But and again, like Bed Bath & Beyond, these guys think that They think that they have an advantage. They think that the short interest is super high. They think that the cost to borrow is super high. They are in denial that the float is really 300 million, even though the company just published in black and white that the float is 300 million. Well, what I think that means, Stephen, is that at one day, it's going to be 300 million. They probably authorize it. They fucking told you what the float is.
Yeah.
But like in every play, people want to argue. I don't believe it. I don't believe it,
I think
Tony.
that's the problem, Tony, is retail denies the validity of filings. Like, I think if people stopped doubting filings, they would save themselves a lot of psychological. It's not even about the monetary loss or gain. It's psychological. It'll wear on you if you're too busy doubting everything.
Yeah, and I just I'm gonna keep on saying this, and not to be a dick about it, but when a company publishes a filing, you should read it and believe it. If not, you're going to be in for some hard lessons in the market.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think, Tony, denying filings is a big one that retail tends to do over time, and overvaluing certain indicators, like the one you mentioned, cost to borrow, high short interest. Typically, guys, high short interest means run for the hills. Now, we've been conditioned in our minds to think high short interest is a good thing because we've been in a short squeeze play for a while, but understand that the short interest is there for a reason. The first thing you got to do is understand why it exists.
And that when I see a high short interest, the first thing I do, because there are people on Twitter publishing high short interest plays every day of the week. The first thing I do is not pile my money into that play. The first thing that I do is go read the filings and the financials to understand why are the shorts so interested in this play.
Yes.
Is there dilution coming? Is there covenant defaults? Is there warrants and convertible notes? What are they about to be delisted? Are they on the brink of bankruptcy? What the fuck is going on here? So at least then I know the field before I step on it. Then I can make an informed decision. I'm not going to buy something because of someone on Twitter or YouTube. I'm going to, for me, understand what the field landscape looks like before I step on it. And for me, because I've been doing this so long, I can do that quickly. And for those of you that want someone like that on your team, sub to the channel, because you can ask me questions. You don't need to super chat. I'm sitting here trading all day. I can look through a filings list real quick and give you, maybe not on a live, but in a few minutes, read through things. It takes concentration. No one wants to sit here and watch me read filings for 20 minutes. I need to concentrate and read them over and over and look for the gotchas, but I can do that stuff relatively quick. Understand the landscape before you pile in, and then knowing that you're getting into a risky play, keep your investment in it, your bet in it, let's call it, proportional to your risk tolerance. I don't know what's the nicest way to say that. There are some people that are putting their entire savings into very speculative plays, and this is not a habit we want to condone.
Nope, definitely not.
But putting some money in it, and when we get lucky, when enough people pile into a play or enough people are piling in right when a catalyst happens, boy, yeah. those are beautiful when they happen. You're going to be riding a high for a week when they happen. But when they don't happen, then you get stuck, like many of us are in AMC and Ape and Bed Bath & Beyond and all GameStop to a certain extent. All of these plays, there's people stuck. Yeah, so collectively, I think, I'd like to help move people into a mindset of, first of all, question, why is the short interest high? Get someone on your team that is willing to dig in and help you understand the why before you pile in, and then don't pile in. Just gingerly put a toe in the water.
Yes.
To the limits of your own personal risk tolerance. And that does, for most people, that does not mean betting your kids' college fund and second mortgage on the house. Would you walk into a casino and take every dollar you have from your wife's trust fund, your kids' trust fund, second mortgage on your house? Would you walk into a casino and just put it all on black on the roulette wheel? You probably would not do that. Steven, you're in Vegas. Do you see people do that very often?
No, but I will say one thing. The people that are the most successful, they actually do that, Tony. They come in with like 10,000, they're fearless, and they put it on one hand of blackjack, and if they lose, they go to the bed and they never play again, right? But if they win, they also leave with the profit.
But it's like it's a 50-50 chance.
50-50. Yes, yeah. Exactly. 50-50. But when they win, those are actually the people who beat the casino, right? Figuratively, because you're not sitting there droning on for hours giving it back.
Yeah, not all of them, Stephen, have the intelligence to take the 10,000 and walk out of the casino. There will be some that will say, parlay.
Yep.
Let's do it again.
Absolutely.
I watched my brother do that. We were on a cruise, and there was a casino in the cruise ship, and that motherfucker, he parlayed like 5 times on the red and black and won. Wow. He won like 5 in a row, and then he walked away. This is mostly unheard of to hit. Now, he did switch a couple times between black and red, but I was like, oh my God, what are you doing? But he was so ecstatic. I mean, the chances of beating the odds on a black and red bet that many times in a row is astronomical.
CB in the chat's correct. It's not 50-50 because you have green, so it's around 47%.
Thank you. Yes.
The edge is for the casino. And if it's a European wheel, it's 1 green. If it's American, there's 2 greens. So it's even less than 47%.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I was generalizing.
Yeah. And no, but that's spectacular for something like that to happen. Usually you're going to lose off the 3rd spin.
So bringing it back to stocks, guys, look, if you're stuck in a play, I get it. We'll get through it, whether we win or lose. Only time will tell.
Tony, you said something the other day that I thought was interesting. You were saying...
Hang on, let me just finish this thought. Whether you win or lose, whatever play or plays you're in, I want you to take those lessons and use more judgment going into the next ones, and nothing is unrecoverable. As long as you have some new cash to put into the market, nothing is unrecoverable. But it's going to take a little bit more savvy and learning some lessons from the last couple of years to look for more first or second base runs instead of trying to hit a grand slam or a home run on every single play, because that just requires a bit of luck and good timing. Go ahead, Stephen.
Tony, something stuck with me that you said a little bit ago. I think the people listening would benefit. Could you talk again about how when the prices are rising on stocks, you were saying how you get more nervous because the risk is higher as they rise? You remember what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I mean, in general, my advice,
like, you become fearful, remember?
In general, the lower things get, the more excited I get. And like when Tesla was running up 6, 7, 8, 900, 1,000, 1,200, the higher it gets, the more I want to punch the fucking sell button. I was not on board with anyone saying Tesla to 3,000. Mm-hmm. Like, if I got in at 600 and bailed at 900, I'm going to be happy with that. And I did do that a year or two ago whenever it was on that massive run. But then I saw it kept running, and I took a healthy profit and got out, and I saw it was still moving. I was like, all right, I made a decent profit on that play. Let's take a little bit of that and see if this momentum will continue. And I bought some call options, and I rode those up. I forget where I got out, 1,000, 1,100, I forget. But I made additional profit on that. But you see how I scaled back my risk?
Yep.
Options cost a fraction of shares. If I was going to be correct that the momentum was going to continue, I put a fraction of my money to capture that momentum, and it ended up paying off. But if it didn't work out, I was not risking the whole house. You know what I'm saying? Then,
Yep.
so the higher a price goes, the more overvalued that I think it's getting, the more I want to punch the sell button. And then the lower things get, like when Tesla hit $100, I was like, I'm in. I am in. I get more excited the cheaper it gets. And Steven, to be honest, when Bed Bath & Beyond was at $1 and we saw that that filing a couple days ago, or what was that? I want to say the threshold price, but that's not the right word. But that deal with the lender where they changed the terms to, I think, $1 till April 3rd. I forget the fucking phrase now. It's not something I commonly see, so I don't have instant recall right now of what the exact phrase was. But I was like, well, I think maybe it could stay over $1 till April 3rd, or maybe they just did that to trick us, and they're selling all they're exercising all their preferred warrants right now. Like the second they drop that filing, they're probably already fucking exercising the warrants, knowing them. You know, the April 3rd was just a bone to throw retail to trick us to buy. So yep. I didn't do anything. I didn't jump on that, but I was thinking about it.
Can I tell you a story, Tony?
And then we get that reverse split news, and it drops to 75 cents, 87 cents. Fuckers. I just, it makes me angry. Not because I'm in the play, just to see people getting wrecked like that.
It happens.
Tell me the story.
Okay, so did you watch the Super Bowl, the Eagles and Chiefs?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is exactly a situation that someone like you would avoid because you're sharp, meaning that if the price is rising, like you said, you become more fearful and you don't pile in at the top. And I'm going to tell you a story of what happened during that game. For the people in the chat who watched the Super Bowl, at the end of the second half, the Eagles were up 24 points to 14 points. They were winning by 10. Now, there was a moment where Patrick Mahomes, he was the quarterback for the Chiefs, he limped off the field, and everyone saw it on national television. It looked like he was, quote unquote, finished. So what do you think all the chalk eaters or the people did?
Bet against him.
Yes, it's not about what I wanted. It's not about, no, it doesn't matter what Steven wanted to win the game, but the money flooded on the Eagles money line, meaning Eagles to win. So what did I do? Because the demand soared, similar to what your guest the other night said, Tony. It had nothing to do with anything else. It was about the demand. I took an influx of $250,000 in about 5 minutes after that happened. So what did I do? I moved the line on the Eagles in play from -200 to -5,000 because that's what the demand dictated. Do you know what -5,000 is?
No.
-5,000 means if you wanted the Eagles money line in that moment, you would have had to put $5,000 on the line to win only $100.
Holy
but guess what? They were paying for it at the top. So when the Chiefs came back, I took all that action up front.
And people took that bet.
Yes, and there were sharps, like people like yourself, who were taking the Chiefs at 3-1. So I was given 3-1 on the Chiefs, and I was given -5,000 the Eagles, just because of that one moment. Well, I knew in my head, okay, in the NFL, guys, if you're ever limping off the field, they typically take you in the back and they hit you with a needle, and you're good to go. Like steroids, they'll do whatever it takes for you to get back on the field, especially in a Super Bowl game. So I'm like, okay, -5,000, took all the money up front. Guess what? The Chiefs came back, and all those people are quote unquote bag holding, right? At the top. The Chiefs scored twice, and now they're sitting on a huge risk, right? So you're saying I'm fearful, right? And guys, you should be fearful. When the stock is, as demand is soaring, that's a great time to become risk appropriate, right? So anyway, point is the Chiefs won. So the people that got in early, or they got in at 3-1, they were all paid. But then all the people that bought in at the top, they got all crushed. But Tony, that was my power, right? As a market maker, I see the demand, I raise the price, and then I end up collecting the money.
See, now in the stock market, people would say, well, that's just fraud, Stephen. But it's not fraud because you write the rule book and you have the legal ability to change the rules as things change. You can change all of that, right?
Yes, absolutely. It's in my control the whole time. And in the reverse is also true, Tony. Like, say I didn't move the line to minus 5,000 and I gave everybody minus 200 on the Eagles, which would be 200 to win 100, then my boss would look at me like, what the hell are you doing, man? Like, the demand is way higher than the price that you gave the clients. Therefore, that was a mismatch line and you caused the company to lose revenue.
It is very, I mean, I love hearing your sports market making stories because I can easily relate those to the stock market. And the game is not fraud. The game is just fucking rigged. The house runs the fucking market, right? Just like Steven runs the fucking sports betting book.
Yep.
You got to place your bets smartly and take the profits, when things go in your favor.
Right.
And not think that you're in control or that the other guy is fearful. Were you fearful, Steve? No, you just fucking changed the game.
Yeah, I was not fearful, Tony, because I was slightly over leveraged going into the game because there was so much millions of dollars that came in on the Eagles. So I was already on the Chiefs going into the game. So like, even if the Chiefs didn't win, like, I made so much money on the spread because it was minus 10 at halftime because they were up by 10 points. So there were people betting negative 10, meaning the Eagles had to win by 10 or more in play action. So this is relative to options, guys, in the stock market. We talk about implied volatility on this channel sometimes. That's really what I'm referring to is implied volatility.
Yeah.
As things change, I change the numbers.
Oh man, that is a great lesson for options too. How options, you can think that I'm going to just buy puts on AMC. All right. I hear people saying that I'm going to buy puts on AMC after the reverse split. It's going to go down. Guys, if you think that you're going to go buy puts next week or 2 weeks from now on AMC and come out ahead, I can almost guarantee you the implied volatility is already priced in and you're not going to make money unless the company goes bankrupt. The market has already figured out how to ensure that you're not going to make money at this point buying puts.
No, definitely. And Tony, I want to say one more thing too. I don't know if this relates directly to the market, but I talked about this in my Discord earlier. Someone asked me, they said, what if 5 million people, like the apes, let's just say, hypothetically, all came in and they bet the Patriots to win the Super Bowl? Like futures for next year, would that move the line? And that's a question, right? Would I adjust price just simply because 5 million people bought and held that ticket that the Patriots were going to win? Do you guys? The answer is no. Why do I not move the line, Tony? It's a good question, right?
Yeah, tell us.
The reason is because the demand for the stock simply is unchanged by 5 million, because you have to look at the situation for what the underlying asset represents. So if 5 million people buy the Patriots, right, there's going to be analysis similar to fundamentals that occur on the Patriots. And I have to do what's called staying in market. So for example, if every sportsbook in town is offering 3-1 on the Patriots, and someone comes and hammers me for 3 million people on the Patriots, I can't just go out of market, because then I'm going to become over leveraged, and then I will become a target essentially. So my goal is to stay in market no matter what. So even if someone comes in and they load the boat on the Patriots, I'm going to stay in market. The only way I'm moving that price, Tony, is if the underlying, I guess you could call it a catalyst, a trade happens, a new quarterback. There has to be something that changes the underlying team that gives it a much greater chance of victory.
Right.
But the price alone of someone coming in and buying it will not move the line. And Honestly, I didn't think Tony, that it mattered that way in stocks until you had your guest on. That's when it clicked. I was like, you know what? Maybe it is the same.
Yeah, I mean, it is. Everyone, there were people in my comments in that video. Why you knew about this, Tony Denaro, all along? You just never told us, guys. I am very upfront with you guys about what I know and my beliefs in any play. I have been trying to get Tim to come on for a couple months because I had questions, like I said, about the validity of daily short volume. Like I said, I see people pumping plays all the time that absolutely wreck retail, and they're focused on daily short volume. And I'm like, something is not adding up here. So that's why I wanted to have him come on, not because I don't understand it. Like, something was not adding up. I understand where these pumpers were coming from, and if you don't dig into it at face value, it kind of made sense. But as I listened to Tim and Steven, I think you feel the same way. We start to realize, we should have been asking these questions a long time ago. We might have had it wrong all along. I'm learning right along with you guys. That's why I try and bring you these expert guest speakers. And whether or not they're right, we will collectively decide. But it does explain a lot of things why these pumpers keep on getting shit wrong. John's Day Trade Steven says, did you ever take the buy button away, though? He has taken the buy button away, John.
Steven? When I do in-play wagering means like the same as options, like as it's dynamically occurring. I take it away whenever I want.
He takes the buy button away in a multitude of fashions, cutting off bettors or a variety of ways.
There's so many ways. The best way I can explain taking away the buy button is, and if anyone's familiar with hockey, do you guys know what a power play is? Like when you're up a man, like you have an extra skater on the ice. Typically, if I'm doing in-play wagering on hockey and then one guy gets a penalty, now the game is changed, right?
Yeah.
So you have an additional skater on the ice. I will take away the buy button in the moments that they have an extra skater on the ice, because the odds do not reflect what is actually occurring in the game. And
that's fraud, Steven. That's fraud.
Yeah, and whenever that skater is back off the ice, then we can resume wagering. So you have to get in before the penalty occurs.
Yeah, it much of what we call fraud is just not understanding the playbook, unfortunately.
Yeah.
KJ, thank you for joining the channel, getting that green badge next to your name. I do appreciate it. What else? I wanted to talk about something else. Maybe there was a question someone had in the chat. Something I saw was jogging my memory of a question that I had.
Oh, I was going to say, Tony.
Batman has been asking a few questions. Go ahead, Steven, while I find his question.
Cool. I was going to say, we talk about influencers and people pumping. It happens in the sports betting industry too. If you guys are bored, look up Vegas Dave. He's a guy who pumps baseball bets, and he's actually fairly influential. People would pay for his picks.
Wow.
And that is referred to as a tout service. So remember I said I classify players. If I find out that you're tailing Vegas Dave, then I will label you as a tout service, and I will follow you, and I will limit that action if he's on a hot streak. Or, for example, if he's really hot, and I know people are going to tail him, Tony, like similar to a hot stock, like say Teddy Zane, I will not only limit action on that stock or that given game, I will pool you all together, like all your 10 accounts. That's referred to as syndicate betting, when you all get together and you try and pump something, and I will cut you all down at once.
So what you're telling me, when I bring this back to my world of finance, Steven, what you're telling me is it is very likely that people like Teddy Zane, Boss Blunts, True Demon, Devil Stockbroker, what I'm hearing you say is that it is very likely that these large channels are being monitored at some point.
Yes.
So that they can fucking get set up.
Can I give you an example?
Do you hear what I'm saying?
Yes,
they're monitoring
absolutely.
them to rug pull retail. And we've speculated on that, but now that you're telling me that in the sports bet world that you guys monitor tout services.
Yes.
I'm hearing in my brain, they're fucking monitoring us, and they give us just enough fucking rope to hang ourselves.
And
Go ahead.
I got a crazy example for you. I'm
Yeah,
not going to reveal the names of the services in question, but there is a prominent tout service here in Las Vegas. My company, not going to name it, who it is, I am given a $10,000 credit line to pay for the picks. Now, I'm not paying for the picks because I'm wagering myself. I'm paying for the picks so I can see them ahead of time, so the people that are receiving the picks, I can loop them all together. Or I can follow that play specifically, and then it all goes down that way. So if you're rallying people behind a penny stock or rallying behind whatever sports game it is, I'm gonna have a heads up on what game it is, simply because my company was willing to pay that tout service.
Wow. I hope this is sinking through to some people, and maybe
That's crazy, right?
It wakes some people up to what could. This is Steven's talking about the gambling world, sports betting, but if you don't think that someone is doing that in the stock market, I think that is a very naive viewpoint. We should be considering that they're monitoring what we're pumping. I hate that word, pumping. What we're touting.
Yep, that's the word.
The plays we're calling out. Everybody on board, low float, short interest is 800%. Let's go. They're just, they're like, come on, babies.
And they don't even got to pay for it, Tony. My company's willing to put real money on the counter to get the plays ahead of time.
Son of a bitch, Steven. Oh, man. Steven said, someone in the chat, Steven says, you are the devil. You know how Lou always talks about the devils? You need to rename your channel. Steven Little D 8.
Right? Oh, that's
you're a little D.
Oh man.
All right,
yeah, tout service is a big one here.
All right, we're gonna pull on this thread of the tout service, Steven. We're gonna have some more chats about this, maybe on video. All right, but that's a conversation for another day. I think it's a fascinating little thread to pull on, and maybe relevant to people that listen to this channel and want to get informed.
I mean,
want to get informed how to get in, get out, take profits, move on, not listen to touters, and become a bag holder.
That's going to be the new word.
Touters, chalk eaters, bridge jumpers. Right. We got a whole new lexicon here.
And you know what's crazy, Tony, is like, this is just me, right? Like I'm just a sports betting trader. Like I'm really a nobody.
You're like, just a little D.
Yeah, like imagine like some of the things that a prime time firm can actually do. You know, it's astronomical. I can't even think what they could actually do.
All right, Batman has a question for us, Steven. He says, we found out the stock market is rigged, not about supply and demand. And then he had another question. I don't understand why people voted yes. Steven, everybody's heard me say why a yes vote was the smart play so many times.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to say it again for you, Batman. But Steven, let me give you a chance to run at that question yourself first, and then whatever color I need to add into the story, I'll finish it up.
Okay. All right, Batman. So why people voted yes. For me, the most important reason to vote yes, it all comes down to the cash position of AMC. The company is a multi-billion-dollar company with as much theaters and overhead and all the things that AMC is required to continue running, right? Like the underlying asset requires operating expenses. And I don't know if you're aware of the recent financial statements that came out for quarter 4, but we had a $600, I believe, Tony, $1 million cash position with 200 and something on revolving credit or something like that. Point is guys, that's just not enough money to keep running, to keep the lights on. This company needs fresh capital. It needs at least $1 billion, let's just say 2 or 3, preferably, to keep going. And not going to go into accounting, but overall, time is ticking. We're in a bear market. The company needs cash to survive. And you know, if the underlying asset crumbles and we go out of business, then the shares are worthless, guys.
Zero.
So,
They will be worth zero. They'll be
and-
worth 75 cents like Bed Bath & Beyond.
Yep, or it'll be worth the piece of paper that I sell people, you know, on the Eagles minus 5,000. That piece of paper is worth zero, right? Your shares are worth zero if the asset that it represents is zero. So we voted yes, 88%. I say we because the majority of us voted yes, that we needed cash. So for me, it comes down to cash. You know, there's a lot of reasons Tony's said on the channel, but to me, that's the most important reason.
I get it, guys. And very, very few, 99% of you and 100% of YouTubers don't look at financial statements. They don't care about fundamentals. They don't care if the company even goes bankrupt. This is lunacy. It's absolute lunacy to say you don't care if the company goes bankrupt. If you're saying you'd rather watch it go bankrupt than let the hedge funds win, you're basically saying I want the hedge funds to win.
Yeah.
If the company goes bankrupt, the shorts win. You gave up the game if that is your mindset. Bless your heart. If that's what you said, bless your heart. The only way we got a fucking prayer is if some catalyst happens. We've been waiting, what now, Stephen, almost 2 years for the second catalyst, the second coming. We had a great run up in January. We had a great run up in June. Now we've been waiting, but then we got rug pulled by Jerome Powell and Yellen and Congress spending all of our fucking money and getting us into a inflationary environment. The whole landscape changed, guys, in November of 2021. If you can't see that, that's not Adam Aaron's fault. The landscape changed. It became harder to get debt on reasonable terms. The interest rates go up, which means stock market goes down because of treasuries. It's just an inverse relationship. When treasuries start paying more, a higher yield, the stock market is going to go down. Everything is going to go with it, including AMC. Everything's going to go with it. I'm not gonna go deep into finance tonight, but the landscape has changed since November of 2021. And if we didn't sell before then, we're just along for the ride at this point until the Fed starts cutting rates again, and then the stock market can go up and everything will go up. But I don't have a timeline for you on that. I don't have a timeline for you on that. So what do we wait on then? We wait on a catalyst. Okay. How many of you seen Come and Go? My Gensla, Robot Godzilla. The list goes on and on of catalysts, which were basically fucking clickbait. That's why I do not talk about catalysts on my channel. Never have, never will. The only thing I'll say is it will be, if there is a catalyst, it will be something that nobody expected. It's the unknown catalyst. So maybe that's basically luck, right, Stephen? When a bomb drops, when a bomb catalyst drops that catapults this thing up, that's going to be luck. That's not going to be me predicting anything. Nobody predicting anything. If you can predict it, the hedge funds have already hedged for it. I can guarantee you that.
Yes. Yep.
Sad reality. So, getting back to Batman's question, why did we vote yes? The landscape changed. The company had $2 billion in 2021. I was against dilution in 2021, Batman. But now the sad reality is box office did not recover fast enough for the company to get profitable. We need at least 11 billion, maybe 12 domestic box office. We're at 7 in 2022. We'll hopefully get 9 in 2023, hopefully get 11 in 2024. So you got to plan, Batman, to be in this play at least till 2024, maybe 2025 for AMC to get profitable. Why does that matter? Because until they're profitable, and I'm going to leave popcorn and credit cards out of this for a second, because those are unknowns. I don't know how much we're going to make from those. But let's just focus on box office and concessions. We've got a couple years of losing money every quarter in this play. A couple years. I think realistically, conservatively, this is nothing new that we haven't talked about for the last 18 months on this channel. The financials are the financials. The box office is the box office. The company is going to lose money for the foreseeable future. We're down to $600 million in cash plus $200 million on the credit facility, which they're not going to. We don't want them to tap into that. They already got $5 billion in debt. Why do we want to tap into another $200 million in debt? And then what? We'll have nothing. In 2020, when the company was on the verge of filing bankruptcy, they had $300 million in cash. So you're literally almost all the way there. You're almost back to bankruptcy right now, $600 million in cash. Do you realize how close you are to bankruptcy with AMC right now? I'm not going to fucking sugarcoat it.
You remember the cash position of 2020 when the bankruptcy articles were coming out?
$300 million.
Yep.
Yeah. We're 1 quarter away from that, guys. 1 or 2. Now, what could change that? Let's go back to the positive. Increasing box office revenues, credit cards, retail popcorn. Many things can change this dynamic. I'm in this play because things are improving. But I'm just telling you like the baseline. Why did we vote yes? The risk is super high of bankruptcy if things don't go our way. Now, right now, things are going our way. And we're happy about that. Box office is going up. Menus are expanding. They're adding shakes. They're doing the right things to increase the revenues. They're doing retail popcorn. Things are going our way. But a management team, an executive team, they're not thinking like a retail investor, like, well, I'm good with $600 million. They're thinking we're fucking on the verge of bankruptcy. We're 1 quarter away. We're one from China from being toast. Yeah. They are not going to think like you. I can promise you that. Did you go get your MBA from Harvard? No, they are thinking all sorts of SWOT analysis: strength, weakness, opportunities, threats. SWOT. They are planning for all contingencies. That is their fiduciary duty, to not let the company go into bankruptcy, to take strategic action to make sure the company is well funded and the balance sheet makes sense. So, long speech to say the company needs to raise cash. You must support it as an investor unless you want to be bankrupt, and or let them fucking turtle out paltry cash selling 8 for 25 cents a share. That is not a good option.
Yeah. Well said, Tony.
God, I was going to finish with, but Tony, it's going to kill the MOAS. Okay, it might. Dilution is coming with a yes or no vote. You're either going to sell 8 for 25 cents, 50, 60 cents a share, and you're going to get diluted there, or you're going to sell AMC after the split and the conversion for, I don't know, 50, 40, 30, 20. Does it matter? Is it bigger than 65 cents? Do you understand the exponential difference between 65 cents and $30? You still going to tell me 65 cents makes more sense to you? What the heck are you thinking?
Tony, I think also a good way of saying it is, if you run out of cash, it also kills the MOAS.
Well, yes. If you run out of cash, right? If you run out of cash, you just handed a W to the other team.
Yep.
So yes, I get it. Dilution is not great. No one's denying that. But dilution was inevitable whether you voted yes or no. Please, if you understand anything after tonight, understand that there was going to be dilution no matter how you voted. Your choice in the vote was dilute for 50, 60 cents or dilute for 20, 30 bucks, 40 bucks, whatever. You tell me which one makes more sense. If you come back and say, I'll take the 50 cents, Tony. I'll say, What the fuck are you smoking? And pass that because I want to take a puff.
Tony,
yes, there's gonna be some impact to a MOAS from dilution, not from a reverse split, from dilution. But last rant, you're not avoiding dilution no matter how you vote. Does not matter how you vote. There's gonna be dilution. End of rant. Go ahead, Stephen.
1796 Patriot called me a hedgie.
I think he's joking.
I know, he's a good guy. DM asked me a good question too. He asked me, do I love my job? The strategized rush of being dynamic seems like it'd be a riot. Actually, I really do. And the reason is because they let me control the sports that I want to control. So like I love hockey on my off time, and UFC is my specialty, fighting. But like if they made me watch like basketball all day, I wouldn't love my job. So they tend to put.
Don't you do a lot of tennis stuff too?
Yes, because we have disproportionate level of sharps on tennis, Tony. Like I'll give you an example of like a red.
I think there's a lot of smart people that it's like going to you go to the opera, and then you know on Sunday you go to a tennis match.
Right. Like for some reason, a lot of sharp individuals bet tennis and they bet heavy. So yeah, I do.
It's the fucking Harvard graduates. They go to the opera and the next day they go watch a tennis match. Oh, yep. honey, let's take the private jet and fly over to Wimbledon.
Yep. There was a huge tennis match in Austin. I forgot it was that club, but they had a lot of matches there with some crazy stuff happening.
Mm-hmm.
But DM, yes, it's really awesome, man. I love my job.
Gus says, thank you, Stephen, for that. Gus says, would you say arbitrage is back in play considering ape is 130? My thoughts on the arbitrage price, Gus, and this is just my non-professional, non-financial advice based on the float. And I did a video 2 weeks ago about the ape conversion price. And we touched on a couple of theories about what the price is going to be after the conversion and the reverse split. My general thoughts, Gus, based on the float of ape relative to AMC, is that if you're somewhere more than 50% cheaper on ape than AMC, there is still some arbitrage opportunity. So that means if AMC's at $4 and ape is less than $2, there's a smidge of arbitrage opportunity. But the reason that it's discounted a little more than that right now is because of the lawsuit risk. The market doesn't know what the outcome of the lawsuit is going to be for sure. So there could be an opportunity there. The thing that concerns me, Gus, and the reason why I'm not, look, I already got in cheap on ape. And the people that want to call me, you voted yes for the arbitrage. No, I bought ape because I knew the arbitrage was coming. I knew the vote was eventually going to happen. If you could not see that, I can't help you. If you couldn't see that buying ape for 60 cents, 65 cents, $1 was a deal, I don't know what to say. I mean, you can get mad all you want, but I'm here to trade. I'm here to look for opportunities. I was not shorting AMC and buying ape. I saw an opportunity to buy ape at a massive discount to AMC, and I was willing to wait as long as it took for a vote. I got lucky that the vote happened to be right now. Neither here nor there. Gus, all that being said, Gus, I am not buying anything right now because of the lawsuit risk and the general market risk, the banking risk, and the whole timeline got screwed up, Gus. Now Antara has a chance to sell 250 million ape. Every time we try and run it up, they're probably going to be selling. And on top of that, AMC still has 60 million more ape that they can sell. So I don't want to get in front of that, Gus. I don't. You do whatever you want. I don't want to be a sucker trying to buy ape thinking, oh, there's a arbitrage opportunity now, knowing how many fucking shares can be unloaded on me for Montara and AMC. I'm done. I already bought in cheap. If anything, I'm looking like now's the time to start selling and taking some of that profit off of those extra shares that I bought. That's what I'm thinking. Go ahead, Steve.
Tony, you want to know something else that's interesting? I'm going to blow your mind again. You know how I said earlier that I classify players based on what they do, like a market mover? I also classify them based on ARBs. We call them ARBs for arbitrage.
Yeah.
So, for example, if I know that there are price discrepancies between two sports books and I know a certain customer is flip-flopping, I can communicate with that other sports book and look at their account information, and I can also label them as arbitrage and use that to cut them down even more. So if there's a price discrepancy, then typically they're not going to continue to wager with us if that's all they're doing. So like, for example, in basketball, this happens a lot where you can wager, like say LeBron James to get 10 baskets at least, right? Like he's got to score at least 10 times.
Yeah.
One sports book might have it at 3-1, and another sports book might have it at like 5-1. Or they'll have opposite lines or opposite sides. So the point is there's a lot of people that are trying to scalp the middle with different sports books. So if we can put a pattern together that people are trying to specifically arbitrage for a living, because there are people that do that, guys. There are people that look for price discrepancies, and it's the market maker's job to eliminate the price discrepancies. And this actually is relatable to AMC.
Yes, I'm going to take it home for you when you're done talking.
Yeah, take it home. I'm good.
So, parlaying off of what Steven said, the fact that the price is what it is right now, I'm going to submit to you that the arbitrage price is already fairly valued in. Because if there was an arbitrage opportunity, the people way smarter than us would have already closed the gap. Would you agree with that, Steven?
Yes, they either close the gap or they find a way to close the gap before anything messy can happen. That's the best way of explaining it. So, for example, if say there's an arbitrage opportunity a week out or 2 weeks out, we'll find a way to close the gap before the actual event occurs.
This kind of gets back to, follow the smart money. Like there was a point where retail was piling out of ape and it was getting shorted into oblivion, where it became so obvious that there was a arbitrage opportunity. 65-cent ape to a $5 AMC, like that is ridiculous. But when I look at the float now of ape relative to AMC and I factor in a little bit of slippage for the lawsuit risk, I think it's pretty close to the ARB value. I think there's a little upside on ape. If the lawsuit is thrown out, you might get a little pop on ape. But I do think that. But Tony, I don't know at this point if I'm willing to take that risk with the general fuck up bank shit and market risk right now. I'm already levered up enough on the play.
I think, Tony, one thing that could really benefit the ape holders is, so right now we have this artificial date, right? April 27th for the court date. Yeah. So the market makers have priced in April 27th. That's a lot of time in a market maker's world. Like I said, I work on a 24-hour clock. So that's an eternity if you give me 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So I think something that could benefit us, we talk about a catalyst that could get ape moving. Tomorrow, Adam Aaron says, hey, the case dismissed. We're closing it up, and there it is. Conversion, boom, snap your fingers. That quickness, like that immediate, I guess you could call that a catalyst. And that could
the unknown catalyst, yeah.
Because no one has accounted for it, because we don't know. If it happens before, no one knows about it besides the judge.
Yep. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. There could be some opportunity if you are quick. If you're able to have some alerts set and you're willing to buy ape for $1.30, you might have an opportunity to get a 50-cent gain. I think the market has priced in the risk versus reward, and they're like, I don't know that that's worth it. But for some of you degenerates, it might be worth it. So that's your choice, guys. I am telling you that I am not adding any ape right now. Hallie Steven is asking who's going to win the Stanley Cup and why.
Oh man, the Bruins look really, really good, but typically for people in here who watch hockey, the teams who do the best in the beginning may not translate to the postseason. So it'll be interesting, but I do like Vegas to win the Western Cup, and I think they're about 3 to 5 to 1. So that's actually what I'm rolling with, is Vegas to win the West. That's the pick for right now.
Anya says case dismissed. Anya, you just kind of gave me a little idea, Anya. I need to buy a judge's gavel on one of those wooden blocks for when the case gets dismissed. I'm going to make a video with the gavel crushing down. Case dismissed. I told you, bitches.
I mean, Tony, like 88% of AMC shareholders. That doesn't even count the ape vote, right?
And then the kindergarten people that were watching this case are going to be like, oh.
Yeah. I mean, the whole case was predicated on the idea that AMC shareholders didn't want the ape to come back in. But then when you have a vote of 88%, like how's that a class action, right?
Steven, the vote was rigged, Steven.
Oh.
We can't believe the vote. Even though we hired an independent team of auditors, we can't believe the vote.
Guys, with Ernest and Young.
I'm going to say, guys, honestly, this fucking conspiracy theories, if you think every single thing is rigged, get out of the fucking stock market. Why would you enter a game if you honestly believe every single aspect of it is rigged? That's just an honest question. Go take a smoke, take a walk around the block, go stand in your empty swimming pool and just look off into the distance like, why am I in this if I think everything is rigged? Not everything is rigged. The vote was the vote. The vote was legit. It was independently audited. Barely anybody voted. I'm just asking myself if I heard someone say there's 9 billion shares of AMC, well, how come we couldn't get 500,000 votes in? How come we couldn't get 5% of those people to vote? Ask yourself the hard questions and don't be scared of the answer. Maybe somebody is lying to you that there's 9 billion. Maybe they're just mistaken. I just have never seen in 2 years anybody provide any hard evidence of 9 billion shares. I've heard a lot of good theories. I like those theories. I'm in this play in case one of those people got a shred of anything right. We know about return swaps and derivatives and FTDs and the known short interest, right? There's definitely shenanigans going on. But when I see a vote come in of 200 million shares, I got to really question my own, like, what do I really believe? Even if all those synthetics couldn't vote, if we held 9 billion synthetics, well, at least 500 million of us, at least half of us, 5 billion of us would be offered a vote, right? Yeah. And maybe 10% of those would actually vote. We should have easily got 500 million votes. Good. So that's what I'm thinking. In my dark, quiet moments, why can't we muster 200 million votes time after time? Maybe Al was not right.
Maybe.
There's just a chance. I'm just saying, there's just a chance that maybe he was incorrect when he wrote up that spreadsheet in his pajamas.
Yep. I mean, I think the best thing I can say is, look, we all know that there is things that happen in the market that's not fair, just like there would be things that happen in a casino that's not fair. The key is to find value, right? And value is something that differentiates the difference between a beginner and an advanced trader, right? So I'll give you guys an example in just like the real world. Like, say UFC. I trade UFC. So if anyone who's ever watched fighting before, typically, say you got two heavyweights in the ring, right? and they're just throwing crazy punches. Well, typically that's a 50-50 fight when you have two guys that are just randomly throwing punches, right? But sometimes the market will judge that too heavy on one side. So they'll give somebody a 5-1 chance of winning. But is it really 5-1 when you have two guys just swinging crazy punches at each other? No, there's value on the guy that's 5-1. So taking the chance with a respectful amount of money can position you to a point where you can make good money. Like where Tony talks about, calls are often better when they're cheap. And it's the same reason. You're limiting your risk, right? But it's a lot of risk if, like in that scenario with two guys throwing a lot of punches, to bet the guy who's minus 600, right? Like, why would you lay the chalk on two guys throwing punches? So it's very similar. Finding value is the same in any sport or stock. You want to find it when the price is right, not because you want it or emotionally you want XYZ. It has to match the price.
Davindo Vasher is in the house. What's up, amigo?
What's up?
I don't know what I want to have next. Do I want to have some yuca frita or some barbecue? Which viewer of this channel should I honor with my next meal? Should I go have a Puerto Rican lunch tomorrow? A Dominican lunch? Or should I go get some Texas barbecue? Davindo Vasher, even though he is German, well, by his name anyways, he does like him some barbecue. Hallie says, my only question back to my theories is if these synthetics are in the dark pool, would they show on the registration? All right. So this whole Lou, I don't know if you're trolling me, Hallie. I know you're a good friend, but I don't know if is this a setup question? Is this a setup question?
It might be.
He's spouting some Lou talk there. All the synthetics are held in the dark pool. Yeah. I think this is a setup question, but any share that you own, me, Steven, Davinda, Karen, Hallie, all of our shares are registered at your broker and with the DTCC. Ostensibly, all of you should have gotten a vote if you had a legal share that was not loaned out to someone else. So even if 9 billion votes came in and AMC said, well, 9 billion is too many, this is an error where the auditor rejects it back to the broker, fix your votes, you're only authorized 516 million, you should have got a full vote of 516 million. There's no way they're going to tell you that 9 billion voted. If an overvote came in, you're not going to know about that. But they will tell you we got a full vote. That would be a tip-off. I told you guys this weeks ago. If it comes in as a full vote, I have no doubt there's massive synthetics. If it comes in 200 million, we need to question this whole synthetic thing. Because even if there were synthetics, as far as all of us are concerned, we should have got votes. They should have all been submitted. And then the auditor would have pushed back on an overvote and only counted the legally authorized shares. So the only way I know that there's synthetics is if we got a full vote. Oh, but Tony, people are lazy. Europe didn't vote, yada, yada, yada. Okay. So how many billions of synthetics do there need to be for 5% of the float to be 516 million? Do the math.
I feel like Tony, synthetics are used to facilitate markets, and they're legal to facilitate markets.
The synthetics, if you go back and listen closely, and the more times I listen to her, the more it makes sense. And I listened to the hour interview again just in the last 10 days. Dr. Suzanne Trimbath, I promise I'm going to do a video on this. She told us all of this stuff. The synthetics are in the options chain and the derivatives and total return swaps. I've just come to believe that this whole Lou nonsense about synthetics and the dark pool in the second book, this was all nonsense clickbait. This guy has no fucking clue what he's talking about, but people liked it and they ran with it. there are shorts. There's naked shorts from time to time. There's FTDs. There's threshold lists. Those are all forms of synthetics. But to make it billions of synthetics and think that the SEC is not going to find out about it. Oh, but Tony, the SEC is paid off. They're complicit. All right. Maybe
that would
one
be
day,
a lot of risk.
maybe one day we'll be right. And we can hang on for that. And maybe we will. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying there's just a lot of things not adding up to me. And there's a lot of plays we can make money on. So I'm going to keep on holding out hope for AMC. I do not think they're going bankrupt. I think that they are moving to a future of being profitable. I think if the lawsuit is tossed out, they have a chance to fucking fix the balance sheet, get some cash on the balance sheet, maybe hopefully also pay off some debt at a discount. Pray to God, Stephen, that he does not go buy a bunch of Regal theaters.
Nah, he won't.
Don't go fucking buy a lithium mine, Adam Aaron. Just fix the balance sheet, Adam Aaron. Don't hire Nicole Kidman to do jack shit. Fix the balance sheet.
Tony.
Make your show. Do your fiduciary duty for the shareholders. Fix the balance sheet, Adam. And eventually we will be okay. Are we going to get 500,000 a share? No, we're not. But can we get the shorts out of this play and get a run up and make some money for everybody? Yeah, I think that is an eventual possibility. I don't know if everybody has the patience to see that through. And that's fine. You guys got to make your own choices. I am not here ever to tell you to buy, to sell, or to hold. I'll just talk about how I see it. And how I see it changes every month. The play has evolved. It is what it is. How does voting work on fractional shares, Alex? You get one vote per share. I don't think you get votes on fractionals. Might depend on your broker. But I will tell you, Alex, that after the reverse split, you will not get a reverse split on fractional shares. So if you have 1,063 shares, go buy 7 more. Or sell 3. Just round it out to something divisible by 10, whatever you do. Because if you have fractional shares, they're just going to give you cash. Al Capone says 500 billion synthetics are hiding them in Brazil. I don't know, guys. I would love to send somebody a case of champagne for being right on that shit, but this is not adding up to me. And I don't know. I don't want to throw Lou and Al under the bus, but they have a history of deleting their channels for a reason. And it's not because they have conviction.
Absolutely.
All right, Stephen. Scarlett just came by and gave me the wave that, hey, it'd be nice to hang out. I hope you guys are. Gosh, Stephen, it's 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah, it's 11 where I'm at. A little earlier.
Yeah, good thing I don't got nothing to do on Sunday, guys. It's been beautiful hanging out with you. Thank you for all your great questions. If I missed your question, feel free to drop it in the comments after we close this up. And I'll try and get to it tomorrow. Or if you're watching it on replay, drop a question. As long as they are respectful questions, I always do my best to answer them. Or if it's just a thank you, I'll give it a like. If it's anything insulting, it's just an automatic block. I don't got time for that in my life. Drama queens get the boot, never to be thought of again. Haters, personal attackers, boot, block, move on. I don't care about them. I don't think about them. So if you have questions, if you have even anything that disagrees with me, that's cool. But don't cross the line or you're going to be permanently never heard from again. I love questions. I love debate. I love good, honest things that make me think. So whether you agree or disagree, drop them in the comments. And I do apologize if I missed any of your questions. There were a lot of chats going by tonight. Stephen, thank you for your time.
Sure.
I love having you on, and hopefully people got some entertainment and some education hearing about how the sports betting world has corollaries to the stock market. And I think we might be able to develop this into some very interesting little 5 or 6 minute videos. So let's chat about that in the coming days.
Yeah, absolutely. I always really like talking about it. So
I'd love to have you on as a guest so people could throw you under a bus as a paid hedgie.
Oh, I'm getting there if I keep going. Maybe I'll take the title from you of most hated.
Woo! Guys, do me a favor. Go watch the OBV video that I put out tonight. Even if you could give 2 shits about OBV, just turn it on, walk away for 10 minutes. All of you that are subscribed to this channel, you are the most important thing to get this message of fact-based due diligence out. I'm going to remind you of that from time to time. If you watch the video all the way through, YouTube will recommend it to other people. And I really want to get this message out of non-clickbait, non-hopium. On one side, we can be bullish and still fact-based. And on the other side, the people that think there's half the people think I worship Adam Aaron. The other half think I'm a paid hedgie. I don't know how I can be both, but the comments are hilarious. But for those of you that are looking for this kind of content, if you think more people need to hear this, every time I put a video out, even if you don't care about the topic, watch it all the way through. And then go on your TV or your iPad or whatever and watch it again. You are what makes a difference in helping this channel grow. I appreciate all of the views. It's not about the money. It's about helping people become better traders and overcoming the temptation to fall into the clickbait. And let's continue to do our best to survive this market, this bear market, preserve the capital we have, identify the trades that we can make money on, get in, get out, take the profits, and, survive and thrive until the next bull market. Hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully a few of you are on board. You guys have been awesome supporting this channel. And you that subscribe and support the channel make all the fucking bullshit and hate and troll comments and the constant nagging I get from these little pink pantied naggers that I get on Twitter and the other YouTube channels all worth it. So thank you. And I am not giving up and sharing the message of facts, truth, and reading the fucking filings. Love you guys. Have a good night. Steven, thank you. We will see ya mañana.